There we go. Hello, hello. It wasn't recognizing that there was a microphone plugged in, so I just had to unplug it and replug it back in, and it showed up in the menu. Look at that. Yeah, we're wearing the K-Chung shirt that Patrick Gravy ETs gifted me when I got to go on his show. We are so back, indeed. I'm going to adjust this light because it's bright in my face. There we go. It doesn't need to be so bright in my face. Hello. Hello, friends. The K-Chung Show is archived. Yes, it's archived on the K-Chung website. I can find that link for you right now, actually. Well, first of all, welcome. Hello. Hello to you all. Let's see if we can't get this going in a nice, family-friendly way that fits the frame. There we go. It's fine. It's good for disco. It's different every time because I have to like take the camera down when I leave and all sorts of fun stuff. That's pretty good. Oh, and it's upside down because we were doing snail stuff. Snail stuff. Whoop. For the political stream. Oh, we could do this. Oh, no, we can't. The soundboard is not responding. That's funny. Let's see if I can open it. Oh, JavaScript is freaking out. It's gonna be loud. Oh, it's not that loud. Is that loud? That's so silly. We could keep that up just for fun. So silly. Anyone who joined us last Saturday saw me attempt to watch the political debate. A silly, fruitless effort. I did download the VOD just in case someday I want to like edit it and make it palatable for viewers. But I would also be perfectly fine to never ever think about that stream ever again, even though it got a lot of compliments. I guess that's the tightrope that one walks with a political satire stream. It kind of sucks the life from you, but hey, it's a good time for people watching, I guess. Oh, I got to read my family on Sunday. Each of them asked for a reading in person, which was a lot of fun. It was extremely validating. Each reading was extremely like personal to the family member and like really helped them out with a lot of stuff and gave some cool perspectives. So that was really, really cool. I've been feeling really comfortable and confident about this deck of Galactic Heritage cards and how, I don't know, it feels fulfilling. Hold on 1 second. Okay, we're back. I'm gonna get this table cleaned off. I'm gonna play 3 minutes of ads. That's gonna be pretty long. Ah, fuck off. What? Jesus, hold on a second. Sorry. Jesus, my mom was being a gremlin. That was horrifying. She peeped her head around the corner and made me swear. Nobody knocks anymore. Kids today, they don't want to knock. Jesus Christ. You could just text too. You could just text. Clearly, your daughter is streaming for the people. You could just use a text message. That's what we pay the phone companies for. Anyway, I love my family very much. So much so that it's controversial. Not like that. I just mean like some people really don't get along with their family, and and that's okay too. Everyone has a different relationship with everyone else in their life. What is this, toenail clippers? Oh, speaking of which, I might actually play a little bit of Spyro later. Maybe some Yanya. Probably some Spyro. Last night I was practicing Spyro because I'm in a music league, and music league means you have to listen to like 2 hours of music every 3 days. And I'm not always driving around that much. So, and when I am home, I'm working on stuff that requires my like audio attention. So really the best time for me to listen to a curated playlist of other people's music is while I'm playing video games. So we might do that later too. I would love to do a 6 card community reading today. We've got a much later start today because I smoked weed last night. I experimented with Lady Cannabis for the first time in several months because I was asked to do a remix of a friend's music, and I wanted to listen to the music and think very deeply, and I was like, yeah, I could smoke weed at 1:30 in the morning, and I didn't get to sleep until 4:30 in the morning. Hold on. Wait. This is where this comes in. There we go. 4:30 in the morning. So I'm a little groggy. I missed my 9 a.m. call time for this stream. But I make my own hours, and I appreciate that everyone is here who is here right now. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, I'm gonna be using sound alerts. These sound effects. These are fun. It's a little quiet too, so maybe I'll boost it up just a little bit. God, that's gonna be obnoxious. That's great for a early morning spiritual stream. You've been on that remix trip lately. Let's go. It's awesome. Oh my God. Put you in this window. I'm just rearranging windows on my monitors. Thank you for your patience. Is this Catholic compliant? That's a good question. A lot of friends in my life were raised Catholic. And sometimes we have very deep conversations on long car rides. I'm not Catholic, but I respect anyone who has any kind of belief as long as they're not hurting anyone or themselves. There we go. Oh, look at that. We just got a huge exposure click. Okay. Again, we're a little zooted, we're a little zonked. So it's going to be a bit of like a bleary-eyed, what's that you say now, youngster? Kind of stream. So I'm going to be saying that a lot. I'm going to be saying, what's that you say now, youngster? I've got a washcloth filled with crystals on the table. That's something. I think I'm just going to carefully move these somewhere else, or I'll just plop them on the little, like, catwalk below the table. Beautiful women are always saying that to you. What's that you say now, youngster? Hello to you, Goose. It's very good to see you. Also, good morning, Apathy Squared. Thank you for coming in here and typing peeny weenie. That's a great chat to wake up to. Thank you so much. Yeah, we got all sorts of crystals here that we're doing all sorts of rituals. But for now, we get to just go. All right, and the table is cleared. How about that? How about that, chat? You ever think about that? Oh, God, I love these cards so much. I've been having so much fun, like, diving into this and then studying each of the civilizations more and more, and, like, or at least, like, discerning what information is relevant at what time pertaining to each of the civilizations referenced. Because you ask anyone in a new age or a spiritual community, everybody's going to have an opinion about Arcturus. Everyone's going to have an opinion about the Pleiades or what have you. There are certain like overarching themes, I think, that it's fun to connect the dots with. And that's my big area of interest, is like researching across many different sources to be like, oh, what are the consensi? What are the consensuses? What's the plural of consensus? Is there such a is it an oxymoron? Can there be a plural of consensuses? Hold on. Well, I sure hope there can be, because I'm trying to use it in a sentence right now. Consensus in a sentence. Plural consensus. Hold on. Probably just say consensuses. Noun. What is the plural of consensus? What do you say, word hippo? The plural form of consensus is consensuses. Nice. Sweet. So we're not trying to pull any of that cacti nonsense over here. Also, apparently the plural of octopus is octopuses. People just are a little, skittish about that word. Someone recently corrected me on that, which was very nice. I was like, oh, good. I don't want to walk around sounding like a buffoon, saying octopi all the time. The more you know. We've got a soundboard now. It's so obnoxious. It's so extra. All right, friends. Eventually, I am going to hit that 3-minute ad button while I should have. It doesn't matter. The ads will come when they come. I need to stop worrying about it so much. Oh, I also turned off ads. That was the whole thing. I turned off ads for the political stream. I guess they're still off. So, ads, yes, more like bads, etc. I've softened, because a lot of my favorite streamers just have started running more ads now, and we're all getting older, we're all getting greedier, we're all getting more evil. So I think in the interest of being in fashion, I'm going to run ads, lest I be left behind the curve. But today, I guess they're off. I could turn them on now, but I don't think they would activate until tomorrow. And you're tugging on your shirt and sweating. Yeah. Yes, I'm very evil now. Ooh. No. Okay. Balance. Survival fears. Oh, yeah. So anyone who was here last Thursday, there was a wild occurrence that occurred. Are we sure this isn't a tarot stream from 2020 and is accidentally running and is going to play it off as a bit? We're not sure. We can never be sure. No one knows for sure what the truth is when it comes to that. What's up, Corpse Punk? It's so good to see you. Hello. Welcome. Right, I'm about to do my slow shuffle routine where I just plop him out into different piles, and then I pick 6, basically. We're going to do the community reading, and then the queue should be open, right? Open? I don't fucking know. Is that how you do it? The queue is now open. So anybody who would like to join the individual reading queue, we will do 2 to 3 card readings. I found that in person with my family, it was really fun to have them pick a card. But since we can't do that through the internet, I'll just pick a 3rd card for you guys. The queue is in case anyone wants an individual reading after this initial 6 card community reading. It's you, Wobbly Game Dev, but you change your name to Official 420 Stoner. Gosh, you can't get any better than that, other than Official 69 Sex Haver. I was an Official 420 Stoner last night at 1:30, and that's why I'm starting stream so late, because I toked a little bit of the herb so that I could listen to some music and think about art. And then, of course, before I knew it, it was 4:20 in the morning, and I was still awake. And I went for a speed walk that day, so my muscles kept gibbling and jobbling. It was really hard to fall asleep because my legs, I was like, this is the most restless my legs have been in quite some time. And I finally understood the plight of restless legs syndrome, whatever that happens to mean. Let's uncross our legs so that we're not giving ourselves some sort of spinal injury. Okay, 7 cards out here. Let's go. We're out here. Our chair is so high right now. It should be high. It's good. I'm at a good level. I look like an adult as long as my posture is good. Hello. Have you guys ever thought about Your posture. I was sent a video recently of like, it was really cute. It was me and a bunch of friends hanging out. And we were like riffing, and it was a really funny video. But just the way that I was standing in the video, I'm like, oh God, I look so like unconfident, not confident. Is unconfident a word? That's how like zooted I am right now. Unconfident is a word, right? It's not like disconfident or inconfident. It's unconfident, right? Unconfidence. Is that a word? Fuck, we're we're lost today, chat. We are gone out to lunch. Speaking of which, I haven't eaten yet today. I've just had a bit of coffee. So it's gonna get real zooty. We're zooted up in here. What's up, Heltran? It's great to see you. Mount posture is really bad and it will never get better. Oh, I'll fix your posture. I've got that library worker spinal bend. That's a good bend. I'm very aware of my posture. Sometimes I catch myself hunching over like I'm Igor. Yes, incontinent. I have bulging discs, so my posture is always going to be fucked. I think unconfident is a word, but I'm disconfident about it. Thank you very much. Oh my lord. It's so funny when my mom scared the shit out of me like when I first started stream. There's me on camera going, "Oh, fuck off." Cuz she's peeking her head around the corner. Wanted to ask about cheeses. She's going to the store and wanted to ask what kind of cheeses I might be interested in. Cuz I recently was reunited with the silly American tradition of craft singles, because I cook a lot of Impossible and Beyond like burgers. That's like a big part of my diet because I'm always traveling around house sitting for people and stuff. So I bring a lot of frozen Beyond patties, and they just really taste like a freaking cheeseburger when you slap a classic craft single on them. I know craft singles aren't necessarily like real cheese, but goddamn. Other than that, I love pecorino. I've been really turned on to a nice pecorino cheese. It tastes like a sharp cheddar, and it's really stimulating. I like it a lot. Please deal in a circle. You hate watching a deal. Deal. Deal with it. For the individuals, they can be something else. I'm not always in control of what my hands are doing. This is also not dealing, this is shuffling, so don't worry about it. I know that it's technically whatever, but I can also just, you're just gonna have to deal with it. All right. Oh boy. This is the community reading, so you don't even have to worry about it. You don't even have to worry about it after these squared. Have you been in here for one of these before? Is this your first time? Is this your first rodeo with this kind of thing? This kind of stuff? This thing right here? Is that? Trying to plop some piles. That's what'll please the populi. All right, 6 cards. It's happening. Whoa! Don't want to bend you. What are you? I'm very curious as to what this is. I'm gonna keep that out there. I like you, both of you. I like both of you, actually. Interesting. 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 Interesting reading today. It's gonna be. Okay. All right. So getting a strong second from the top vibe. No matter what happens, we're all in this together. Just like High School Musical. So who's ready? Who's ready for some stimulating discourse? Does everyone love stimulating discourse? I know I do. Does anyone have any juicy discourse for the day? Whatever, let's read this first card. Dreamtime and Awakening. Beautiful. I'm barely awake myself. That is a cetacean card. That's a shamanic whale parallel card. Very strong, very powerful. I love the whale cards. There's only 2 in the deck. There's also 2 dolphin cards in the deck, which are also cetaceans. Love this. Dreamtime and Awakening. I'm very sleepy today. I'm not surprised we're starting with this energy. There's a lot we can learn from this, even without any context of any other cards. We can just talk about this for a couple of seconds. Bisexuals are on your nerves? Well, sheesh. Pile plopping, saying pile plopping out loud in Hank Hill's voice right now. That's funny. Doing a bunch of packing today. Oh, hi Zaysha, it's good to see you. Need to pack a bunch today and didn't sleep a lot. Yeah. I don't know if you heard me talk about it, but I experimented with cannabis last night at a very early hour, so I missed my 9 a.m. call time. But I get to see you afternoon people. That's fun. Not everyone's up and at 'em at 9 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people they just want to, live their lives in a different way, and I blah blah blah. Let's read from the book. Dreamtime and Awakening 91. It's so funny. Just before we even get into this, I just want to touch on there was a big yearning vibe the last couple of days. Big yearning vibe. Some people call it horned up, some people call it aroused. Big yearning vibes. And then today there's this big call to action vibe. There's this big self-righteousness vibe. I'm seeing it in my own tweets. I'm seeing it in the tweets of friends. It's just it's interesting. Why does everyone hate bisexuals in the chat? I'm gonna have to ban all of you. You can't cut that out. Cut that out. Some of my closest enemies are bisexuals. Be cool, Bezos. Som. I love Yo Hear It. Every time I see the Yo 7TV Shrek outhouse emote, I think of that first syllable of that classic Smash Mouth song. Number 91, Whale, Dreamtime and Awakening, Parallel. Whale consciousness, which is connected to Sirius and is more like a group consciousness, has the capability of rising above the dream of physical reality and operating in an awakened state. For millennia, whales have been our guides beyond the physical plane. Now that it is time for human consciousness to evolve, we too must learn to rise above the dream of physical reality and enter the awakened state that is the true reality. Is everyone following along? I can help explain this if you need some more. In meditation, imagine the loving presence of a whale and connect with its heart. Breathe together. Let it guide you through dreamtime and into awakening. I do not remember what my dreams were last night. I do know that they were very involved because I woke up feeling very involved. Many of my good friends are also contemptible bisexuals. God damn it. Every time I have sex, I briefly become a bisexual, but I try to remember to cut that shit out when I'm done. Twitch wouldn't let me shout out weed. Shout out weed. There you go. We got some real 420 stoner heads in the chat. Some real Trey slangers in the chat. I also want to remind everyone that yes, I was in fact slinging tree in the forests, despite what my friends and loved ones may tell you. All right, that's a pretty cool first card, I would say. I'm gonna skim through the commentary. Oh, let's get into it. Whale consciousness connected to Sirius is very unique, whereby individual human souls incarnate into bodies, and you don't have to believe a lick of what I'm saying right now. This doesn't have to apply to your belief system. I'm just going to say the words that are in this book, just in case they stimulate us, just in case they activate something within us that will progress the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Whereby individual human souls incarnate in bodies, whale consciousness is a fifth density vibration and represents group consciousness. Each whale is actually a group unified field of consciousness. Whale consciousness has the ability to operate in an awakened state, seeing the true reality of existence instead of the dream time of the illusion of physical reality. I'm going to say that one more time. Whale consciousness has the ability to operate in an awakened state, seeing the true reality of existence instead of the dream time of the illusion of physical reality. You'll hear many teachers and explorers and psychonauts and so forth talk about how dream time is more real than waking time. Waking time is, in fact, the true dream. And of course, us as humans don't feel that way. We feel, oh God, but it's waking time when I gotta wake up and eat and run around and go to work and be on time for things. And geez, but in my dream time, we got all the symbolism and imagery, and my teeth are falling out, and you turned into a spider, and I can fly. But what if our paradigm of reality was flipped? Just as a thought experiment, just as a fun thing to roll around the tongue of your brain. I hate being on time for shit. How about that? What if that fantastical, imaginary, consciousness-driven reality of our dream time was in fact, by certain definitions, quote-unquote, more real than our waking time, just as a thought experiment, just a fun little thing. And it's fun to think about, especially when we're really letting the trappings of physical reality get us down. Not as escapism. You don't need to be like, well, none of this is real, so I don't have to care. No. You're inherently going to care. You're a human being. I'm a human being. I'm inherently going to care about stuff that's happening in the illusion of waking reality. Air quotes. We're going to be doing air quotes for the rest of the stream, so strap in and strap on for those. Got 2 fingers and they're doing a whole lot of action. Clip that for your grandmothers. But what if that paradigm could be flipped? It's just a fun thing to think about. All right, is everyone still on board? For millennia, whales have acted as spiritual guides for indigenous peoples around the world, coming to them in dreams to communicate the greater truths of the universe. If this card has appeared in your reading, you most likely have a strong connection with Sirius and or whale consciousness already, or this consciousness is just beginning to work with you, wishes to be acknowledged. We've fans of the stream, we work with whale consciousness all the time. If you wish to work with it, connect with whale consciousness before going to sleep. That in-between time, you see. This will open you to further communication and guidance in the dream state. Whale consciousness is essential to this time now on Earth because they serve as guides for human consciousness. As we break free of illusion and begin to awaken, you are seeing people breaking free from illusions left and right, up and down, red and blue, all over the place. The absurdity is making itself very known. And through our, polarized fragmentation, we got to argue about what's real, what's not real, what's worth our time, what's significant, what's important, what's worth our energy, what's worth our, and don't take this too seriously, but what's worth our vote, so to speak? What's worth our participation, so to speak? What's worth our intention? Putting our attention and intention. What is worth it for us to pay attention to it? And that's different for every single individual who's alive. That's going to be different for everybody. Even people who are part of collectives and communities. Everybody has their own perspective. And I've been thinking about that a lot in terms of the sort of isolate, like, remember in Donnie Darko when she's like, every living thing dies alone? And when I was younger, I'm like, well, that's a bit bleak. And now that I'm older, I kind of just am like, well, yeah, I could take it. I could find an interpretation of that notion without attaching it to a negative belief system. Not like dying alone is a terrible thing, but it's like, we each have our own perspective. We each have our own journey, and we can share our journeys with each other. But ultimately, we are the guides of our own destiny, I think. Like, kind of just wrenching that steering wheel towards, like, an interpretation that could be a little more positive. We put on the Green Party debate on accident. Hi, Monster. It's so good to see you. More whale consciousness, indeed. Good friend of the stream, Cheldog 2020, and I are in a band called Department Store, and we have a noise release on Bandcamp that was just us like improvising for like 40 minutes or 20 minutes, I'm not even sure. It was either 20 or 40 minutes, one of those increments of time. And it's called Space Whales. And at the time, it was just like, oh, isn't the concept of a space whale pretty funny? You see that explored sometimes in science fiction. And then nowadays, I'm like, oh, yeah, like I'm all in for space whales. Like, not even necessarily a physicalized whale floating through space, but like the consciousness of the whale and as it connects to cosmic consciousness. So you'll need to check out the department store stuff. I will link it in the chat. We haven't released anything in like 10 years probably, but I'm always down to send Shell Dog stuff. It's just they always want to like meet up in person, and we just rarely. They live in a completely different part of the state, and it's rare that we like meet up in person. And when we do meet up in person, they don't even want to release the recordings that we make in person. We have a bunch of recordings from this one time we were in their dad's studio, and they're just like, I don't know if it's like, just release it. Come on. If we could all just shove our energy into manifesting some more department store releases. Anyway, let me see if I can find the link for you, Steph. I don't want to pressure Chell Dog, but I would like to, disabuse us of the notion that we need to be extremely precious about every single expression of art that we choose to share or keep private from the world. What are we? Department store? There's us on Twitter. Bandcamp. There we go. Oh wow! It links you right to Space Whales. That's funny. I just want it to be like because that's the most recent thing we released. Yeah, October 2018. Okay, that's not 10 years ago, but yeah, that's not yesterday. You need the tapes. All right, shall we flip over the second card of this community reading, chat? But first, we have to finish this. It is all... Yes. There may be something in your life that needs to be seen clearly without illusion in order for you to move on to the next level of your growth. I'm feeling that constantly. I'm feeling that a lot with a lot of the vibes and energies that are going around right now. Everyone is saying something about something, and it's like, it's all an illusion. And that doesn't necessarily mean that none of it matters. Of course it matters. We attribute meaning to everything in our lives. But there's a bit more like, there's a loosening of the grip. There's a letting go of the need to control. It's like it's so sensitive. Like anytime I offer any sort of unsolicited like words about anything that have to do with like the polarization of the collective, it's inherently inviting misinterpretation. It's going to be taken the wrong way by someone who's listening, and that is something I have to let go of. I have to let go of the need to control everyone's perceptions of my perspective. Second card, Pulse of Life. Gorgeous card. I love this card. Let's get that up on the big board right there. Pulse of Life, Galactic Core Parallel. It's a little rainbow card. Very powerful card. Second card in the entire deck. We've got 108 cards. This is number 2. Count them. 2. That pulse, that rhythm. There's a big explosion of consciousness, the desire to not know oneself, starting out as source, starting out as unity, and then expanding into difference, into otherness, into diversity, into knowledge and learning and growth and wisdom. Beyond wisdom, shall we say. This is that initial rhythm, that pulse, that drumbeat, that breath, the in, the out, the up, the down, the reverse cowgirl. Yes. Pulse of life, the existence of life is so cool. Like living, it's from the inorganic. Oh, that's very poetic. Let's read about it. I love that. These two have everything to do with each other, and yet they can, on the surface, feel so different. Dreamtime and awakening. The pulse of life, that's what carries us through our awakening and through our dreamtime. The desires that our souls, our oversouls, our essences, the desires that we have to pursue certain paths of knowledge in our waking time and in our dream time that may be subconscious. Events may occur to us in the waking time that we want to explore deeper in dream time. And that pulse, that linear movement, which becomes nonlinear when we're introduced to dream time, that's right there. That's that galactic core, that impulse to expand outward and to contract inward. But since it's 2, I think it's just, yeah. Okay, I'm going to read. I'm getting all over the place. Like a great galactic clock, the galaxy's core calibrates the rhythm of the evolution of consciousness through its wave emissions. Whew, very cool concept. Ancient civilizations such as the Maya were fully connected to it and were able to plot a galactic calendar using this wisdom. All life, including you, can feel this pulse from the core. Look out into the night sky and connect with the dark spot in the Milky Way. Let yourself breathe in this energy, resetting you to the natural pulse of the universe. You cannot rush evolution. This is the card of trust. Let go and allow the universe to work through you. Talking about breaking through illusion, talking about journeying through what is real and what is not real. Can't rush that distinction, can't rush that discernment. It will unfold naturally as it deems fit in your own individual course, in your own individual life and journey. It will happen inevitably, because as we choose to stay alive, we continuously grow constantly. So there's a level of trust involved in how quickly we gain new wisdom and new information and so forth. There almost has to be a force behind life. How the hell did DNA and cells just spring up? Heck. All sorts of people have all sorts of answers to that. It's a great question. While creation spans an infinite number of galaxies and states of consciousness, this card represents the energy of our home galaxy. At the center of any galaxy, the core acts like a metronome, almost like a heartbeat that guides the pace of evolution of all the consciousness in that particular galaxy. The Maya and other ancient civilizations understood this great role played by the galactic core and were able to interpret this pulse through their advanced calendar system that described the process of evolution from separation back into unity. Everyone is attuned to this metronome, but only some can feel it. Here's a fun fact. In the year 2012, remember that? Remember everyone freaking out about the calendar? Our solar system crossed over the galactic disk, which is just a natural matter of astrophysics. This isn't some hooey or hoo-ha. It's literally just the path that our solar system takes. We all know that planets move. We all know that stars move. Everything is like swirling around. Like none of that is that controversial. But in 2012, there were a lot of big shifts and so forth. The end of the world in 2012 really just marked a new beginning. Not necessarily fire and brimstone, like we were all taught to be afraid of for no good reason other than being controlled. Any sort of limiting, belief system is probably there to try to control you in some way. Sorry if that's a little controversial, but just let's be aware of our fear-based belief systems. But yeah, so if you're living in the same timeline that I'm living in, the world did not end in 2012. Perhaps it did for some people on certain spiritual levels. My best friend took his own life just before 2012, the year started, at the end of the year of 2011. Like there were these big shifts. In the mainstream news, you could talk about, Occupy Wall Street, Arab Spring, these huge like turning points of like, oh, we are now living in this paradigm of the internet or this new spreading of information. Oh, what does this mean? And for different civilizations, different cultures, different people, this means a completely different thing. But all in all, there was some sort of shift that was occurring. You could point to any year and say that there's some sort of shift occurring. Again, you don't need to believe in the nonsense that I'm spouting. It's really just for fun that we're exploring these ideas because they tend to benefit me when I explore them. And so hopefully they can also benefit you in some way. In the year 2012, our solar system crossed over the galactic disk. it's a frisbee. Beginning a new 13,000-year cycle of evolution. So that's when the Atlantean...
about it. There is nothing super natural about it. It is normal. It is natural.
Thank you so much. Sorry, my volume is a little low. Okay, there we go. So we talk about that when we talk about Atlantis and Lemuria. These are eras of give or take 13,000 years of the matriarchy, the patriarchy, and the pendulum swings back and forth. Currently, we are swinging out of a patriarchy into a matriarchal vibe. We can also, it doesn't have to be so binary. There's all sorts of expressions of consciousness being expressed. And there's a high level of polarity because that pendulum, ooh, baby, is it a swinging. So obviously we're going to have very polarized beliefs and thoughts and conflict and confusion. But that's the beauty of difference. That's the game that we signed up for, to put it crudely. Sorry, I thought it would be much shorter. Joe Biden is kind of like my mom. There you go. We are now able to access a whole new energy that facilitates integration and evolution during this new cycle. So as we breathe outward into separation, we then take a deep breath and reunify, reconnect. All of these beautiful transcendence of binaries. Some have also called this the rising of the cosmic feminine. There you go. If this card has come up in your reading, then it is either acknowledging your innate connection to this galactic pulse, or it is encouraging you to begin developing it. When you do this, the cosmic plan unfolds within you, and it becomes so much easier to connect with the higher self and flow with the natural current of your life instead of trying to manipulate events with the ego personality. That control we were talking about earlier. Giving up the illusion of control, giving up the need to structure our perceivable reality in a certain way that must be, otherwise it's all crumbles, etc. There's surprises, there's change, there's always going to be change. Connecting with this energy brings a tremendous sense of peace and stillness and truly facilitates your journey back home. Let's go. That's awesome. This is third one. Beautiful. A cetacean card, one of the dolphins. What a great bookend we have here. These two light blue cetacean cards bookending the pulse of life. That is a very powerful trio right there. Forgiveness and gratitude. Gorgeous. Gorgeous card. Forgiveness and gratitude. God. I, for one, am grateful for the explorations that I get to experience throughout the pulse of life in Dreamtime and Awakening. I love forgiveness and gratitude. I love it. I love it so much. It's a great card. Let's read. God, my stomach is a rumbling. Oh, how the cosmic cookie crumbles, indeed. Indeed. Are we 84? While dolphins have been known as intelligent beings for hundreds of years, they have still been hunted, killed, and seen as animals. Yet, dolphin consciousness does more than simply forgive humans. Dolphins innately see humans as aspects of the Creator, and in doing so, they see the big picture and do not polarize themselves into victims and perpetrators, which to me feels like one of the grand illusions of the awakened, of Dreamtime and Awakening. This card reminds you to move beyond forgiveness, which is often polarized. See all beings, even those who hurt you, as aspects of creation. The lessons they provide to you enhance your spiritual growth. Be grateful for them. Now that's a big one, that in our big old swing of the pendulum during extremely polarized thought, this comes up a lot. It's probably one of the most controversial things that we bring up on this stream, the nature of forgiveness, different people's definitions of forgiveness, and a lot of our unwillingness to engage with the very concept of forgiveness. That's up to each of us individually, how far we want to take that journey during this lifetime. That's all that I'm going to say about it. Dolphins are sentient beings much like humans, except without the high levels of polarity in their consciousness. This is why dolphins appear to exist in a joyful, fully present state. Being rooted in the now, they do not hold the pains of the past or the worries of the future in the present moment. Even though humans have hunted them and mistreated them for thousands of years, they do not hold a grudge, but continue to joyfully interact with us and even save us from danger. When consciousness is rooted in the now, which is the other dolphin card, the present moment being in the now, the definition of forgiveness changes. No longer is there a past pain that needs to be forgiven, or a future worry. I just wanted to add that in. The joy and the love of the moment is an expression of non-attachment to the pains of the past. I love that. Truly living in the now means inherent forgiveness. There's no need to dwell or shackle oneself to something, a pain of the past. I really like that. If this card came up in your reading, the meaning can be on several levels. It may mean that you have a strong dolphin connection, or it may mean that dolphin consciousness is working with you in a sense, calling to you to interact with it for the purposes of your own healing or healing and growth. Another meaning may be more personal. If there's a person, including yourself, or a situation that you cannot forgive, this card's message is encouraging you to change your definition of what forgiveness means and transform the situation into gratitude for the lessons learned. This very alchemy, this is the crux right here. This is the juice. Oh my God, this alchemy of redefining pain and forgiveness and instilling gratitude for the lessons learned ensures a powerful transformation that can free you from the past. But like in ministerial work, when people ask for help or whatever, it's just, it's like, this is the hardest thing. I see it in the therapy sessions that I'm in with my group. I see it with friends, family, all sorts of people, enemies, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's that alchemy. Can I allow myself to find gratitude in the lessons learned from the situations, the people, the pains that I initially do not want to forgive because of whatever my definition of forgiveness happens to be in that moment? And it doesn't have to happen overnight. It doesn't have to be a light switch of forgiveness. I think one of the biggest definitions of forgiveness that hold people back is the making it synonymous with excusal, which is not a requirement of defining forgiveness. Okay, second row. Long-term goals, series past. Interesting. Oh my God, I'm so hungry. Long-term goals, series past. 45. The long-term goals of the Syrians lasted for generations and spanned thousands of Earth years. This required extreme focus, discipline, and dedication. Many people who had Syrian lifetimes still retain this ability to focus and carry out long-term projects. And we talked about the Sirius energy when we were talking about the whale energy. Long-term goal of the whales. Help us through Dreamtime and Awakening. Help us engage with our own subconscious shadows. Use this pattern as a skill that can benefit you greatly in this life, especially in regard to your spiritual development. If you have difficulty completing long-term goals, then seek out ways to move beyond this resistance. An ability, hey, what if someone's long-term goal was forgiveness and gratitude? And this was something that I talked about in therapy yesterday. Oh my God, so deeply. I have this really intense issue when I feel powerless to help someone else because I feel like their solution, I'll see a friend or a loved one or something crying out for something to be fixed in their life, and the solution is right in front of them. And it's through the way that they're expressing themselves, it's coming across to me as someone who has this savior complex and wants to help them. It's oh, you're willingly avoiding the solution. You just described your way out, but you also just are exhibiting a desire to stay where you are. Like there's a certain satisfaction or some sort of reward out of staying in that situation of helplessness. And so if I was to offer any help, it would be rejected. And that's a personal bit of baggage that I've been dealing with since I was a kid. Probably before. If you have difficulty completing, yes, seek out ways to move beyond this resistance. An ability to be focused and disciplined in spiritual growth is essential. Let your Syrian forefathers guide you. I'm always looking to learn more about Sirius. Because a few years ago, I learned some interesting, like, serious spirituality and stuff and alchemy, and I incorporated it into the final episode of Star Pals. And a lot of that stuff is touched on in this very reading, actually, right now, The Pulse of Life and so forth. It is hard to know thyself. It's a lifelong journey, I think. And most of the criticisms that I have of others, I bring this up probably once a stream, but it's like whenever I'm really holding on to like a grudge or a criticism of another person, it's something I'm uncomfortable addressing about myself. It's like something that I'm terrified that I might exhibit within myself. And like, generally, the harder I fight against something on a certain level, the faster I'm running toward becoming that very thing. Like the idea of fighting fire with fire, you just become that which you are trying to like war with. Long-term goals. This card refers to the long-term goals of the Syrians who assisted Earth in the ancient days and their ability to see far into the future as to what a new planet, Earth, would need in its development. Many of their selfless goals to help the evolution of Earth have been carried on for millennia. Big teachers, the Syrians. Galactic species must have this long-range vision in order to perpetuate life, nurture it, and ensure its survival through the challenging periods of its evolution. If you have pulled this card, it is possible that you have a connection to yes, spiritual teaching, yes, protection of the humans, yes. It may also mean that we're dealing with the skill of long-range vision right now. It could be challenging us to develop the skill of long-range vision, focus on completing the goals that we have for this life. Yeah. Know that rushing the completion of a project is less important than being focused on the task, carrying it out with integrity, commitment, and thoroughness. Only then can you discharge the energy and the responsibility of the promise you have made to fulfill the goal. Going back to the trust of the pulse of life, trusting in the process, trusting in the inherent nature of having a long-term goal. It doesn't need to be a light switch, doesn't need to be completed overnight. And it's not going to be. If we believe that we complete our journey overnight, that's an illusion, I would say. It's all happening all the time. The journey is the destination. Alienness. We've never had this card. Have we had this card before? Alienness. Non-humanoid parallel. I love this card. This is the card just before Primal Fear, the reptilian energy card. Alienness. People all the time are talking about, hey, how come all the aliens you talk about look like humans? They got the two body parts, and they got the eyes and the hands and the feet. It's like, well, we're just talking about humanoid civilizations because we're talking about galactic heritage. But I do not want to leave out the droves of civilizations that are non-humanoid in physical appearance, in consciousness. This exists. It's just not necessarily what this card deck deals with. Or like the themes that it is a theme that we explore, and we will do so now by just drawing this card. People are like, what if an alien could be a gaseous cloud? I'm like, yeah, why not? What if it could be a pile of ooze? Yeah, why not? Anything that you can imagine exists on some level. Because you can tap into it. You can imagine it somewhere out there in the vast infinite of everything. Something that you can imagine exists. And even if you doubt that it exists in physical reality, you just imagined it. So it still exists. You just sort of conjured it in your consciousness. Is that not existence? I don't know. Definitions. Whew. Alienness, 27. The energy of this card refers to the sense of alienness that many humans have that keeps them from feeling connected to life on planet Earth. Many feel strange in their own skin. Boy, can anyone relate? As if they come from somewhere else. You may indeed have a connection to non-human beings in the universe, but because you are human in this life, assuming Chad is all human in this life, this card asks you to begin embracing your uniqueness and celebrate it, rather than fear it or be ashamed of it. Gosh, that's a big lifelong one for a lot of us humans. Celebrating our alienness. You're special. You are unique inherently. You are inherently worthy because you are here. You are alive. You exist. You are inherently of value, of worth, because you exist. Even if you took yourself out of this life, you would still exist. You would still exist. There's no such thing as non-existence. It doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I mean? Alien is kind of offensive. A lot of extraterrestrials do not like being called aliens because of the connotations Earth humans have with that word and that association. Alien, it's foreign, it's scary, it's other, you know? And those words don't necessarily all need to be synonymous, but there's a lot of cultural baggage that comes with the word alien. I use it as a shorthand, but when I first started getting really back into this stuff, I stopped using it for several years because I was told that it was offensive. And now I use it just in certain connotations to bring people in. Because if I insist on never, ever, ever using it, it drives certain people away. So I'm very careful about my usage of that word. I try to pay close attention to the connotations, the energies that I apply to a word like alien when I am using it. I think recently there's this fun movie from 2023 called Jules. I highly recommend it. You can watch it on Paramount and Showtime and stuff. But it stars Ben Kingsley and some other great actors. And it's about a UFO crashes in this older man's backyard, and it's very charming and very cute, seeing how he interacts with the occupant of the craft. And it's adorable. And it really has some productive, healthy, progressive moments of contact, like interspecies, interplanetary communication. It's a really beautiful, quirky, charming movie. Jules 2023. I just want to. We can identify the subtleties here. I hope so. Celebrate your uniqueness rather than fear it or be ashamed of it. I know Pride Month just ended, but that doesn't mean that Pride has to end. Pride never ends. You know, these assigned things never really end. It's an encouragement for us to work on that throughout our lives. If you need help, ask some loving non-human beings to assist you during meditation. Feel their alienness. Feel their alienness and open your heart to them anyway. You and they are one. That's a really I think that's also why this comes just before primal fear, because when we invite something alien, when we let in something that's really unfamiliar, it can be at first stimulating and exciting in like a scary way, because there's unknown attached to that. Oh God, like, is it going to do something bad? And that's where I really get on my soapbox about like certain media portrayals of alienness. At the end of the day, it's prejudice. Like, it's just like, that thing is different from you. It's going to hurt you. Like, why? Come on. Yeah, like, survival fears, etc. But what if, and I keep saying this, what if, as a thought experiment, like we could embrace that otherness as opposed to feeling like we're so smart for fearing it immediately before we even give it a chance. Alienness. All right. This is cool. This is one of the deck's few archetypal cards that does not necessarily point to a specific species. It's a parallel, but rather a state of consciousness that is affecting you now. In terms of our galactic family, it may symbolize a connection to any number of non-humanoid races with whom you may have connections. You may already know who they are. If you don't know, it isn't so important that you do. There are a myriad of non-human species in creation. The main idea is to examine any feelings of alienness that you may have, of not belonging or of being different. Often this feeling keeps us disconnected from life or gives us excuses to not engage in this reality. Also gives us excuses to not feel forgiveness or gratitude, I want to say. I wanted to add that because that's part of our reading. Again, look to the other cards in the spread to see if they're repeating themes. Yes, yes, yes. Very cool. Is there someone in your life who seems alien or different, and you are having trouble embracing them? How can you engage yourself more in life on Earth? How can you integrate feelings of being different with being part of a global or galactic community? That paradox of being individual and a collective. Ultimately, our journey is about integration, and that means embracing all of our parts, even those that seem alien to us. And you're looking like a Targaryen. Hi, Ford. I literally just woke up like this. Yes, I feel like in the fantasy books I get compared to Galadriel a lot. I'd probably be an elf if someone was to pick us for dodgeball teams in the fantasy realm. Judge a book by its cover. I also really like orcs. I like orcs in Dungeons and Dragons a lot. Like I had a dentures or a mouth guard that had tusks in it. I like ordered tusks once because I love, like, for cosplaying or whatever, just I love tusks. Like I would love like a half elf, half orc character who has all the, the certain vibe of an elf, but just these like fucked up like tusks, and just it like has that understanding of that balance between those civilizations. I love that. You would be a golem or a type of golem. Monster, can I ask you? You don't have to go into detail. What were you camping recently? I just saw all those cool pictures. I think it was on Instagram. That looked so fun. Like that looked like such a fun group of people and like such a nice time. It was cool. It made me go, "Oh, I want to be out in the woods. That looks so fun." This weekend, cool. Nice. Oh yeah, you were talking about that when I was sharing about my weekend from a couple weekends ago. Smelf. I would be a human named Juliet. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Humans are gorgeous. I envy humans. Hey, Shake and
The
Bakey.
Galactic Heritage card, Zany percent speedrun.
Zany percent speedrun. Thank you so much, Shake, for the 100 bits. Thank you. That is very generous. Oh yeah, the queue is also open! Exclamation mark Q for anyone who Smelf. Thank you, Steph, for pinning Smelf. I am a Smelf. Gonna try to get into backpacking. Cool. I would love to join you for that. Yeah, I haven't backpacked since I was a child. When I would go with my friend Henry's family back in the day. And I was too young. I mean, not too young because I learned lessons and had a good time. But the first year that I joined them, it was really hard for me to like hike up a mountain and carry a backpack with all my stuff in it. It was like that was tough. That was like a physical and mental like mountain as well as a geological one. Feeling cosmic after watching SGDQ do Katamari forever. Cool. I have some friends at SGDQ right now. Cinderkit keeps posting super cool selfies. Much love to Cinderkit. Hey, guess what? It's still Pride. All right. Where were we? Non-human parallel? That's right. Yeah, I already read the whole thing. Beautiful. Alienness, beautiful. I sort of have to use the restroom, but I want to finish this reading first. Because there's one card left. And then we can gossip, girl. Force of Attraction. Cool. Orion Light Future. I've never pulled this card before. Force of Attraction. It's gorgeous. Orion, we know, big part of their process was overcoming and integrating polarity. Absorbing polarity. Force of Attraction. Orion Light refers to the future, meaning they have overcome the war. The war is over, so to speak. Force of Attraction. So no longer is there a great force of polarization ripping things apart, keeping them from touching. You know, now it's the magnetic poles have reversed. Force of attraction. Just so inherently running, like two lovers running into each other's arms on the beach and smooching as the sun sets. Oh, I love it. We're going to Jiminy Glick it up right now. I was watching a bunch of Jiminy Glick. I watched Jiminy Glick clips last night. I rewatched the Bill Hader interview and I laughed so hard that I started sobbing. Something else was going on within me, but I was like uncontrollably crying, laughing, watching these Jiminy Glick interviews that he pulled out during his Jimmy Kimmel hosting recently. It's so fun to watch him interview people who like so obviously grew up like admiring him, and then having them just like unable to keep it together. It's so cute. Okay. Force of Attraction, 106. This is, so 106 is very close to 108. 108 being the final card of the deck just before Source reintegration. Again, for those of you who don't know, this is 108 cards. It starts out as one and then spreads out, and then around 54, it, you know, which is sort of, it's represented as the present in Earth right now. That's why everything feels so polarized. That's why I was talking about 2012. And the pendulum shifts back as the numbers go higher up to 108. So 106, we're real close to getting back into Source. With the energies are rushing back together towards unity. Cosmically speaking, the lovers are sprinting towards each other on that romantic sunset beach, about to just shove their tongues into each other's faces. Whew, is anyone else getting a little warm? 106. The theme of the stream is scrambling ham jams, as is indicated in the title. The natural state of existence is balance. Who'da thunk it? It takes more energy to sustain a state of imbalance than to surrender to balance. That's an interesting concept because we're so, our time period, our civilization, we're so used to being out here teeter-tottering on the fringes of separation, where everyone has this category that is different from everything else. And we're like, wait a minute, we're so used to imbalance that it's preposterous. It's so interesting. Let me read this again. The natural state of existence is balance. All that life is pain, all that the universe is uncaring and filled with chaos. Sure. It's a cute fucking bumper sticker. The natural state of existence is balance. It takes more energy to sustain a state of imbalance than to surrender to balance. Balance is inevitable. You see people talk about nature healing, nature returning, etc. Sure, we can, buy into the notion that the universe is uncaring or chaotic or random or whatever. Sure. But that chaos will eventually inevitably bring about balance. So is it truly chaotic? Who knows? It depends on who you're asking. I'm getting a little intense right now. I'm going to try to back off. I need to eat some food and I need to use the restroom. Balance is a state of integration, where all parts of self are aligned and at one. The Orion light represents this integrated state. There's a force of attraction that guides us back to the state, and it can be felt on subtle levels. We can tune into this force when we are silent and empty. This card asks you to move to your next level of growth by emptying yourself, often in meditation. Empty the cup so that it may be filled. That's an old adage people throw around a lot when they're getting into pop Buddhism, etc. Learn to feel this subtle force of attraction that guides you to the state of ultimate balance within you. I think the next card, oh yeah, the final card, 108, is indeed emptiness, which is a gorgeous state of being. The last 4 cards of this deck access the energy called the Orion Light, which connects to a very evolved era in Orion history. Since our natural state is as a unified being, there are universal forces that pull us toward integration and awakening, no matter how much we resist. You see it everywhere. You see it in the things that we care about, the movements that we align ourselves with. About bringing people together, community, collective, because that's where we're at. We're out on the fringes of the wobbly disc. Terry Pratchett had it right. Where are we? Yes. When we resist this natural flow, we sometimes create accidents or seemingly negative circumstances to force us to move in the direction we need to go for the highest good. When we relax and trust in the flow of the universe, we are intuitively pulled toward the choices and circumstances that foster our evolution. Thus, we are always nurtured by creation, even when it doesn't seem that way. I think that's why I brought up that notion that the universe is uncaring earlier. We are always nurtured by creation, even when it doesn't seem that way, and that ties in very deeply, I think, with this forgiveness and gratitude card. The illusions of the awakened dream, and trust in the pulse of life that carries these lessons forward. No matter how alien they are, as long as we remain aware of the long-term goal of the unity, separation, etc. Maybe one day I'll read the Discworld series. Oh, I thought you were into that. Was that a Carl thing? I've only read like 3 of the books, and they're fantastic. I read them backpacking, actually, when I was backpacking at that age. My friend got me into Terry Pratchett. And now, dear friend of the stream, R2 Shelby2, she loves the Discworld books, and she brings them up a lot, and it's a lot of fun. She has a great library of Terry Pratchett books. Yeah, my favorite one was Reaper Man. It's about like death. Like the Grim Reaper retires and becomes a farmer. Like that's the premise. As a kid, I was like, yes, that's the coolest premise for a book I've ever heard. And then as I read it, I realized, oh, this is connected to a larger like fantasy canon. And then I read Feet of Clay and then some other book, I think, that I don't remember. Okay. You haven't read any of them, but you really should. They're good. It's funny stuff. Force of attraction. Did we finish this? No. Yeah, when we relax and trust in the flow of the universe, oh my god. We are intuitively pulled toward the choices and circumstances that foster our evolution. Thus, we are always nurtured, even when it doesn't seem that way. Following the flow, trusting the flow, it may mean that we're resisting the flow. It's the same thing. Like whenever it's like, oh, pulling this card may mean that you are doing this or you're not doing it. It's just an awareness of that theme. That's my favorite thing about these cards and how nonlinear they are. I think, especially reading in person for my family, it was like, it just became very like, how does this apply to you right now? And it was like, oh my God, so significant for each of the people. You must create inner stillness in order to sense this flow of energy that gently nudges you toward integration and transformation. The chaos of outer circumstances is just a reflection of inner chaos. Don't be distracted by the outer chaos if it manifests in your life. Go within and reconnect with this flow, the natural force of attraction that always nudges you toward awakening. Yes. I think that's why I was so insistent on bringing up chaos earlier. Like I personally believe chaos and order are the same thing. I don't. Randomness and intention, I think, are one and the same. I think it's just sort of depends on what illusion you're looking at in the context or in the current moment. Okay, I really have to use the restroom. This is a beautiful reading. This is very cool. I like the themes that we've explored here. And the queue is open for individual readings. If anyone wants to. Wait, no, join. Wait. Join. Yeah. Sorry. No! Why did I do that? Whatever. I'm the first in the queue. Okay. Just gonna... and no one needs an individual reading if you don't want one. Like today or whatever. I can tell that my energy is a little like strange today, which is fun, but also that might put people off. So it's up to people. Do we not get to see the whole queue? Is there like a list? Do I have to do list or something? We got Nightbot back, by the way. Oh, it is list. Okay. Okay, it's just me so far. That's okay. I'm gonna use the restroom. Oh, cool. We got Goose Von Kaiser in there. Awesome. And feel free to join. We have a raid from Zoe Trope. Thank you so much, Zoe. Thank you so much. Gonna lurk and drive? Have a good drive. Welcome in. Hello. Oh, I gotta turn off the bathroom fan. It's roaring in my ears. Welcome in, friends. I have a soundboard. I don't use it. I downloaded a bunch of sounds to use in my once a year political stream that I did on Saturday, which was just a nightmare. And I still have the soundboard up. So, but we're doing Galactic Heritage card readings. We just did our community reading for the day, and then we're getting into the individual readings. You can do !join if you want to join the queue. Right now, we've got Goose. We've got Bumps on a Log. Welcome back, Bumps on a Log. I'm going to put some chapstick on because I woke up like this because I smoked weed at 2 in the morning and I overslept, so I didn't start the stream until noon. And I'm a little frazzled and very hungry, but I want to be here. So I'm drinking water and a little too much coffee and using air quotes. Did Mickey even show up? Mickey was there for like the first 30 minutes or so. Yeah, it was all for Mickey, Damien. It was all it was all for her. But then it went on for like 5 hours and I got very drunk. You were gonna say she was there for the first like 30 minutes. Grab a snack. I might go grab like a protein bar. We have some of those in the pantry. We do the most for Queen Mickey, indeed. I know exactly. This used to be a very regular thing for me. It's like smoking weed deep into the early hours of the morning and then waking up very late in the day, and that was my shamanic practice for a decade of my life. But recently, especially because of dog sitting gigs, house sitting gigs, I don't like to smoke weed at other people's houses, even when they're like, "Oh, it's totally fine, just do it in the backyard." I'm like, it's weird. I have a different relationship with cannabis than I did 10 years ago. And now I go to bed earlier and I wake up earlier and I do things in the morning, which now I'm old, now I'm elderly, and I'm a different kind of person, and that's perfectly fine. What's up, Coder Ocelot? Oh my god, also shout outs to Galuigi, who has 5 girlfriends. 5 beautiful women who she is in the friend zone with at the beach party. You do like seeing the sunrise? Yeah, I like that. It's a dream. The ladies love Gal. Well, why do you think they call her Gal Luigi? All right, I'm gonna apply some chapstick. I'm gonna turn off the fan that's roaring, and I'm gonna have why don't we all just use this moment to reflect on what these cards are telling us? We watched some Jiminy Glick last night, and we laughed until we cried. So we're channeling a bit of the Jiminy Glick. I didn't even know that was a thing until people were like, "Oh my god, Pander, you're glicking right now." I'm like, that's just how I talk. That's how I've spoken since I was a child. I love the ladies. Gal loves the ladies. Not gonna lie, stayed up all night smoking weed, certifying UI benefits and writing lore. Can't really smoke before bed anymore. Keeps me up. Yeah, that was my whole thing. I was like, oh, I'll do it to fall asleep, and I was up. My legs were like restless, and I was thinking about art very intensely. What's up, Penjies? It's very good to see you. Are you following? What is it called? Summer GDQ. 1 second while I apply chapstick. Also, a huge shout out to Gravy ETs, our good friend Patrick Gravy ETs, for this wonderful K-Chung Radio shirt that he gifted me when I got to do that appearance on his radio show. Oh yeah, Steph was asking for the archive link. It's on my Twitter. Let me see if I can bring it up for you. Let me just, without getting sucked into Twitter. Oh, notifications. Oh, dopamine rush. The rush of dopamine. I am. I have to search for it. Pander Sarah, K Chung. There we go. Full show up now in the K Chung archive. Let's open that link, and it is not secure, but I will be posting it in the chat. It's like an hour or plus, hour and change. That's the MP3 of our show that we did together. Me and Patrick Gravy ETs. Having a nice time. We drank some Dr. Pepper that was coconut cream flavored that I had never had before. it was delicious, and I'm not even a fan of coconut flavored things. It tasted like edible sunscreen. It was really good. Bumps on a log, they were so wild, in fact, that I made a video of them. We could watch that video right now. I made a video to promote my stream because I'm trying to promote my stream more so that we can have all sorts of friends and outreach. Oh, the expansion never ends. What was it? I called it triple or triple. What did I call it? It's in here. Triple sequence. Let's watch it together as a group. Survival fears. Is there anything you need to know to keep doing the thing? Rejecting emotion. Wow, 2 Zeta past cards. Interesting. 30 and 31. Yeah, that's pretty nuts. So this is a very specific energy. Oh, another Zeta. Renewed hope. We're really focused on Zeta energy today. Interesting. Another Zeta, a present. We had 2 Zeta pasts, and now we have 2 Zeta presents. 79 and 80. Wait a... Guys, what are the odds? What are the odds? 2 back-to-back past Zetas, 2 back-to-back present Zetas. In their darkest time, they vowed never to feel emotion, thinking that emotion was the cause of their problems. My webcam is doing that thing it does sometimes when energies are getting wild. Ooh. Lemurian era. Gorgeous. Let's get that zoomed in. I love this card. Love that card. Era. We'll have to see what the other card kind of says. Bam. Oh my God. 47 and 48, baby. 3 times in a row. 3 times in a row. What? Chat. What? We had 30 and 31. 30 and 31. Zeta Reticuli passed as the first individual reading. We had 79 and 80 from the Zeta Reticuli present for the second reading. Now we have 47 and 48. 47 and 48. Passed. These are a pair. And I am shuffling them thoroughly every time. This is 108 cards. 3 sequential pairs. Yes, Galuigi. The second card was always the highest. This was a video I made to promote my stream. It's actually 0.0. That's okay, Galuigi. 0.00079% because choosing card 108 as the first card wouldn't have worked. It's confusing. 1 in 1,259,712. Yes. I'm so glad. That's what Exercise Machine told us. Together. What a bonkers stream. What a bonkers stream. And I can say bonkers because I am in fact bonkers. That was nuts. That was really wild that happened. George Thorogoodly singing Bad to the Bone. Thoroughly good singing bad. Oh, shuffling it thoroughly. Wow, look at how grainy the webcam got. That's fun. There's 2 panders. Sparkle Sprout. Johnson are cool. KSPP TV. Okay, let me close this. The queue is open for individual readings. If anyone wants to do an individual reading, right now the queue is currently... Let's put it up on the big board. Let's put it up on the big board. We've got... Let's put it up on the big board. Where's that big board? Give me that big board. Hello to you. There you are. Q. July 2nd, 2024. We've got Goose von Kaiser. Goose. We've got Bumps on a log. We've got Galuigi signed up for a reading. That's fun. We got Coder Ocelots. All right, cool. I'm going to get through these right now. Let's go. Thank you so much for signing up. All right. So what I do is I shuffle by piling them into 7 different piles, and then I will ask you for 2 numbers, and I will shuffle those 2 piles together, and we will draw 2 to 3 cards, depending. And if a card flies out, we will also incorporate that into the reading. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Welcome. Yes. Yes. What's up? Who watches the watch? We've got Who Watches the Watch. Let me see if that. Yes. Watch. Okay. But right now we are reading for Goose. And this shuffling process takes a little bit of time. So thank you so much for the time. It allows me and the recipient to focus a little bit of intention in there. You don't have to tell me any specifics about what's going on in your life. You don't have to be like, I'm looking for love in all the wrong places, or my career is unfulfilling. You know, like, you can share stuff like that if you want to, but I think that inevitably the cards always end up like showing you something or telling you something or guiding you to something that, like, you know, maybe subconsciously you wanted to focus a little bit on, or maybe not. It doesn't have to have anything to do with anything. It could just be like offering some nice guidance. I know I'm putting these in random piles. That's just how it goes. Yeah, whoa, that was really random. Let's do it in a circle. Come on, gang. Come on, gang. Also, this deals with cosmic civilizations. It is not required that anybody believes in aliens, believes in space. You don't have to believe in planet Earth. You can use it as archetypes. You can use it as myths, allegories, legends, iconography. It's fun. It's just fun, you know? It's all for fun. None of this is necessarily like fortune telling, even though I do have that in my listed tags because a witch in Sweden told me it was a good idea. And I trust her because she's very funny. Say that 5 times fast. All right, we are reading for Goose von Kaiser, coming up to the end of the deck right here. So I'm just going to ask Goose von Kaiser, do you have 2, count them, 2 numbers that you would like to focus on between 1 and 7? Please let me know in the chat, or I will pick them for you. Bonkers Girl Solidarity, let's go. 3 and 7, beautiful. 1, 2, 3, and 7. Gorgeous. That is the solar plexus chakra and the crown chakra. Solar plexus having to do with purpose, doing, action, moving forward, probably decision making, you know, but like that Donnie Darko, to bring up Donnie Darko again, that ooze, that fun tentacle that emerges from his solar plexus and guides him into his future as the present. Let's go with these deep metaphysical themes. Welcome in, Raiders. It's a Pandorcera stream. We're talking about all kinds of stuff in here. We've got Goose von Kaiser. Oh, this is jumping right out. That is jumping out. I'm going to shuffle this one more time. Not going to look at the cards. I don't like looking at the cards. I don't want to know what's in the little thing. Ooh, I caught a glimpse of that. Ooh, ooh, ooh. We're getting also... Ooh. Baby, I think that's the one. And then I'm also going to 1, 2, and then I will do the top card as the 3rd one. I will do that. All right, first one for Goose. Missing Link, Earth Past, beautiful card. Earth Past, what's missing? Is there something missing? Is a lack of something really an illusion of something? What's missing? What's that stepping stone? What's in between the 2 points? What is the bridge that connects 2 things? I don't know. What's missing? Sometimes this card also reminds me of Sasquatch, because sometimes people refer to the missing link in that way. Sometimes people think about a jump in a project, like, how did this start get to this finish? What's missing there? Is there ever really, truly anything missing? Or is it an illusion? Is it like a narrative that we tell ourselves? Let's read from the book real quick. The human race has never truly been alone since ancient times, and you don't have to believe in any of this if you don't want to. But it's fun. It's fun to think about. Since ancient times, our ET forefathers have been working with us, both genetically and spiritually, to nurture our development as a species. Uplifting a younger species is a natural part of galactic civilization. You pulled this card because there's a connection to these projects between humans and ETs, etc. As you explore this connection, you will find that the so-called missing link is not just a genetic reference, but a spiritual one. What has been missing is an understanding of who we are and our place in a vast galactic community. So, archetypally, this could also have to do with community, isolation, these themes, not necessarily meaning that you are experiencing those things right now, but something to just think about. Those tethers that keep us connected. This card has both literal and symbolic meanings. How you apply it in your reading depends on the surrounding cards, which we will see. How much you know about your inner self, which we will see. What do you feel is missing in your evolution and growth? Is that missing piece an ego desire or a true recognition of the next step in your spiritual work? That missing piece usually refers to a part of ourselves that we are denying. Perhaps you are seeking a more direct connection with your higher self and or the wisdom of the universe, which is always ultimately us anyway. That's what I was referring to by the illusion. Welcome in, Champ, by the way. Perhaps it is the ability, perhaps this missing piece, so to speak, air quotes for the umpteenth time, perhaps this is the ability to love and forgive yourself. We were talking about forgiveness and gratitude earlier in the community reading. After closer examination deep inside yourself, you will find that nothing is ever really missing ever anyway. If this card comes up in your reading, it may refer to all sorts of things. What are you searching for? This card challenges you to answer that question and then look more deeply. You will always find it is already within you. Another Earth card. This one's the Earth Present card. New consciousness. Beautiful. Flower reaching toward the sun. That's the metaphor that this card refers to. New consciousness. New beginnings. The shifting of a paradigm. That's the present Earth that we live. When we dwell so much on what's missing, we can lose sight of this new consciousness. Nothing is truly missing, I guess. And that recognition allows for a new consciousness to fill that perceived void. 54. There is a new consciousness being born on Earth right now. It has to do with the true nature of existence beyond belief, thought, or emotion. This new consciousness is sprouting from our beings like a flower reaching toward the sun, but we often obstruct it by clinging to our distractions, such as opinion or drama or blame. We must become that flower reaching toward the sun and value it above all else if we are to transform as a species. Take a few moments every day to visualize yourself as that flower reaching toward the sun. Let the sun nourish you and give you everything that you need. Beautiful. New consciousness being born. In doing so, the old is dying. Very, very pointed. 49, 54, both Earth cards, both like swirling the center of the deck. This is actually the immediate center of the deck, 54, because there's 108 cards. Very cool themes here. Yes. Okay. Begin to focus on this new birth that's happening within you and around you. Let's look at this third card. Complete surrender. I love that. So much of today, the theme has been trust. Complete surrender. A Lyra future card. They certainly had to learn to give up their need to control. They were a pioneering civilization. That external expansion, penetrative, stereotypically the masculine, I want to go forth, I want to pierce through, I want to conquer, I want to own. What I find is mine now because I have set foot upon it. You love listening to my readings? Thank you, Galuigi. I'm really intense today because I woke up recently and I haven't eaten, so it's a little more theatrical, but I think that's how I channel information really fluidly, is by by being theatrical. You know, we like to get glicky in here. All right, that's a bit much. Complete surrender, though. I love that this card really does bridge these two cards, I think. How do we traverse from a mindset of lack, a mindset of what's missing, what do we need to fill in the puzzle piece in order to achieve this beautiful new consciousness that is already in the present? That's an interesting thing to note. The suit, the time of new consciousness is the present. Complete surrender is actually a future card. And that was the future for the Lyrans. This was them integrating that lesson and transcending their perceived shortcomings. Let's read about complete surrender, number 70. Very cool. For eons, the ancient Lyrans applied the masculine principle of pushing or forcing reality to conform to their desires. That control. In order to transform, they eventually had to surrender, to let go for their need to control, and trust the universe to be as it needs to be in every moment. This was a hard lesson for the Lyrans, as it is for you and me and all of us humans. You, like most humans, have a karmic pattern of trying to control reality. It's nothing to be ashamed of, it's just something we're working through. It is now time to change that pattern. Practice trusting and surrendering to the universe on a daily basis, even with small things. As you do this, you will begin to heal this ancient karmic pattern. Let's skim through the commentary. This card represents the transformation of several negative traits of the ancient Lyrans that kept them always trying to control reality. There is some sort of higher plan, and in those early days of Lyran civilization, they prefer to push and control the events, which is part of that higher plan. That's another fun thing. Free will and destiny, they're kind of two sides of the same coin. It just depends on perspective. I love rolling that one around. What's up, Balloon? It's great to see you. This left them creating a lot of conflict and strife within their civilization. Eventually, as the species matured, they began to recognize that there is indeed that higher plan, and it is impossible to ever control events. Of course, you can exercise free will as an expression of your creativity in whatever way you choose to, but also trusting that your expression of your free will is inherently part of destiny. They're linked. You know, it's all valid. It's all is. Did that? Yeah. They learned to let go and ride the wave of the universe and healed their obsessive need to control. This is an extremely important card for Earth at this time, which is great because the other two are such deep Earth cards. Earth at this time, because most humans
sometimes the world just is.
Exactly, Goose. Thank you so much for that. Because most humans as individuals and the species as a whole are addicted to this need to control and don't realize that this only creates suffering. Took me a long time to figure that out, and I'm still working through that theme. That's a lifelong theme for me. This card came up in your reading. The suggestion is to seriously take a look at your desire to control reality and begin to learn how to let go more. Learning to surrender is a challenging experience, but it is an essential aspect of personal and planetary illusion. Thank you so much, Goose. I hope this was of service to you. What a beautiful reading for you here. Missing link, new consciousness, and complete surrender. I'm going to shuffle, and we are going to focus now on bumps on a log. Let's go. What a beautiful, beautiful reading it was. Very cool. My headband is my hair tie. My headband is my hair tie. Okay, excuse me. Okay. Bumps on a log, are you there? Are you in chat? Are you open and receiving? Are you willing to receive? Receptive. Boo, 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 boo. Yes, you are ready. Very cool. Here, I'm going to drag the chat over here. Boop, beep. Beep, boop, boop, bop, boop. I am a robot. These new ambitions aren't really new. They're different mediums of art, but they're still desires to create. That's really cool. That's really cool, Goose. Okay. We're just gonna do it in a circle. Bumps on a log. Let's go. Bumps on a log. Bumps on a log. Pass out if I keep doing it. This is nice. You can get into a little bit of a trance here. This circle. Maybe I should. It'd be fun to ask people if they want to do counterclockwise or clockwise, but that's not necessary. Once you start asking people how they like the whoa. Well, we're definitely including that. Solar consciousness just brought out. This is the higher self. I don't know if that was for me about shuffling or let's keep it for you, but that just popped right out. So solar consciousness, I know that immediately has to do with connection to the higher self. Solar system, we're going to keep that as part of your reading over here. It's very cool. Put that on top of the book, actually. Don't know where we left off, but that's okay. If words like higher self and stuff have weird connotation, you can just use something like intuition or inner guidance, inner voice, etc. You're hoping for a jump card. That's very cool. Bumps on a log. Can you give me 2 numbers between 1 and 7? How do I set up my camera for readings? I have 2 cheap webcams. One of them is affixed to the mirror on my closet. And I point it down at this table. That's my thigh. This is a pretty recent setup, and I really like it a lot. I used to like not be as cool with it. 1 and 5, beautiful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bam. We've got the root, and we've got, what is it? The throat chakra. Very cool. Communication, truth. Very cool, very cool. Root and throat. Root and throat would be an interesting cafe name. They're always something and something else, you know. Always remind you of like a farmer's market. Okay. Not really shuffling that. Goes the way it goes. Toot and boot. I like you. I like both of you, actually. It's interesting. And then we also have solar consciousness, and we can pull a third card as well. But solar consciousness, before we get into this reading, let's read solar consciousness because that just jumped right out. I already mentioned that it has to do with the higher self. My brother pulled this card, actually. Our solar system archetypally represents all the aspects of human consciousness. Fun fact. Is this fun fact? Ooh. Fun fact. Well, whatever. Okay, that's just the way it's going to be right now, I guess. Fun fact. Fun fact. This is visible through astrology, a modality that a lot of us are very familiar with. The sun represents our highest potential of consciousness, the higher self. This is the higher self card. You've pulled this card because either you already have a very strong connection to your higher self, or it is the time now to develop that relationship. Good gravy. Are we going to do this? I guess this is the higher self aperture for the webcam. This is also a card of integration. Solar consciousness compels us to integrate our parts and become whole again. I love that. The allegory of a solar system. All the parts all revolving around each other. It's all part of the swirling whole. This process happens naturally as we connect with and become the higher self. The process has become. This is a highly archetypal, powerful card, one of the most powerful in the deck in terms of personal evolution, and it leapt right out during your shuffle. That's very cool. Soul, it can represent the sun of our solar system. Soul, which is, the name that we've given it, or the archetypal energy of any sun or star. It represents the bright light of awareness, which is what we're getting with this webcam right now, or the higher self. This is the energy that guides us, a consciousness beyond human personality that is the awareness of all of creation itself. If it came up in your reading, it could mean several things. Acknowledging the connection with your higher self that you are already utilizing, or even a spirit guide who brings you messages from this higher aspect of you, if that's a modality that you choose to believe in and work with. Or if you don't feel particularly connected to your higher self, it could be a message that you now need to start making this connection. The energy is strongly present, so why not learn to use it? Your higher self is most likely sending a message to you, and it is likely you know what that message is, even if you don't want to fully acknowledge it. The energy of any star in its raw form is a direct representation of the intelligence of creation itself, pure consciousness. It hasn't fragmented or individuated. It exists in a fully integrated state, which we perceive as like a perpetual explosion, which is pretty cool. This energy is present for you and is, in a sense, waiting for you to acknowledge it and accept its presence in your life. Even those people who feel fully connected to their higher selves can always go deeper, because at the end of the day, we are people. We are experiencing individuation, like expression as a unique self. And the higher self can refer to an oversoul or this. It's always a self. It's always us. I want to caution someone after that specific description. I just want to say, even though the wording that we're using seems to separate us from our higher selves, there's never a severance in that connection. There is never a separation there. We are like an expression of the soup, the cosmic soup of oneness that branches off. A metaphor that comes up a lot is like a hand. It's like, this could be the higher self, and then it's like, or an oversoul or whatever, and then it branches off into all of these different individuals, but it's all the same hand, I guess. Now I'm kind of muddling definitions here, but let's flip this. Seeing the one, perfect. Oh my gosh, seeing the one, an Earth future. So something that we are working toward currently on Earth. Seeing the one, seeing ourselves as the one, seeing ourselves as aspects of the one, that metaphor that I just gave with the fingers in the hand. Exactly. The solar consciousness, different planets of a solar system. A solar system being this same metaphor of a hand. I'm sorry, this is just very hard to see my hand because of how bright our light happens to be shining right now, which is beautiful. Solar consciousness. Seeing the one, 78. After a long struggle, humanity achieves enlightenment. What does this mean? Humans no longer feel the need for conflict, and they put down their literal and metaphorical weapons. Through seeing clearly without judgment, we learn to perceive through the eyes of others and eventually realize that there is only one consciousness that sees through all eyes. Oh, that is such a mesmerizing and beautiful and haunting and poetic realization for a human experiencing polarization to remember that it's all just one seeing through many eyes. Begin practicing this now. In meditation, ask yourself, who is the one seeing the one seated in meditation? Wow, I'm going to read that again. In meditation, ask yourself, who is the one seeing the one seated in meditation? The observer of the observer of the observer of the observer. As you connect with this seer, know it is only one being who is seeing, and this being spans the entire universe. It's a big pill to swallow. Big pill to swallow. Indeed, Galuigi. The biggest challenge for the awakening of it, this is the commentary. The awakening of any planetary species is the ability to transcend polarity. As long as we continue to see reality in black and white terms, we continue to keep ourselves separate from the true consciousness that we are, the one all-abiding being in creation who sees through a myriad of eyes. Ooh, are you fans of the Bible? Will enjoy this. Famous Bible quote from Matthew 6:22 says it best: "If therefore thine eye be singled, thy whole body shall be full of light." It's in the King James Version. Interesting. That's in the Human Commentary. It's fun how they rope together other spiritual texts to try to, I just think it's fun. It refers to the essential ability to see with one eye, or to see from a unified perspective. Exactly. This is the key to the awakening of Earth, as well as to personal ascension or transcendence. Or just even just further talking about the connotations of using a text like the Bible or something. It's like, it's all ultimately like, you can trace all these different lessons to be similar lessons from a similar truth or source or whatever, just like the metaphor of all the eyes being gazed through by one eye. Is that making sense? I think I'm stretching that out too much. Yes, this is the key to awakening. Transcendence. Begin feeling the unity in creation in all things, even those you have previously labeled negative or those that are too frightening or painful to acknowledge. This is essential for your own personal transformation. It may seem like a daunting task, so let your higher self and the wisdom of the universe guide you. Literally, it just referenced the higher self, and that was the card that jumped out. Literally. There are no coincidences, and if there are, that's perfectly fine. They could be seen as a lesson. It's all about perspective and definitions and what we choose to define as what we choose to define. What's going on? Where did I leave off? What is this? This is essential, daunting task. The future has already been assured. This future has already been assured for us on Earth, but we have to take the steps to make it so. For this card, look at the other cards in the spread. It is likely you are already well on the path of making this change. This card is a celebration. Yeah. Bumps on a log. If you're there, like, it really seems like there's this connection to the higher self. Survival fears. Oh my God, and we're back there. This almost feels like the thing that keeps us tethered. This is in the past, Zeta Reticuli past, survival fears. We've talked about this card a few times on stream. What could prevent us from seeing the one? What could prevent us from reconnecting to the higher self in order to see all that is as a unified presence? Survival fears, tribalism, etc. Like a need to maintain separation in order to survive, an illusion that it is necessary to avoid seeing ourselves as the one, or avoid reconnecting to a higher version of ourselves, because we like where we are. We want to survive. We want to keep this old paradigm going because it's comfortable. It's what we're familiar with, and it's how we've survived so far. So why, if it ain't broke, but it is broke, I think we can all admit heartily that most of us in here are for a shift, for what might be referred to as a progressive step forward. What's up, Squeaky? It's great to see you. I'm going to read the survival fears, number 30. In the ancient days of the Zeta Reticuli, you're familiar with the Zeta Reticuli. I don't really need to go through their history right now. I think this will just tell us exactly what we need to know right now. Their species nearly destroyed themselves due to high planetary toxicity and misuse of technology. When they realized that their species was dying, they experienced the most primal of fears, that of no longer continuing as a species. These survival fears force them to look deeply within and make drastic changes. The same is true in our lives. Often we don't make changes until we can clearly see that our old ways will only destroy us. Everything changes. Change is the only constant, etc. By then, we have little chance of change. What part of your life needs to be changed? Begin the process now before it becomes too difficult. And that can be like such a personal thing, and it whatever snaps into someone's head about what needs to be changed, I don't know, that can change from moment to moment. And what might need be changed today may not be the same thing that needs to be changed tomorrow, etc. But that's where these other cards come into play. Seeing the one, seeing the collective as a unified one. It's so self-explanatory, the seeing the one and tapping into our own intuition, our own higher self. I think that's how we can move beyond the survival fears that prevent us from changing our lives and ourselves in the ways that we want to. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't need to read the commentary. I think that's pretty much it. Does this serve you, Bumps on a Log? Are you still here? Oh man, you say. Oh man. I'm gonna move on to Galactic though. Galactic, who has been so patient. Oh, we got Champ. Let's add Champ. We got Champ. Beautiful. Thank you so much for being patient. What a cool reading. All of these readings inevitably, are lessons for all of us to integrate. And I'm glad that we get to do this in like sort of a group setting where it's like, oh, we can focus on you right now and you can apply it very directly to whoever was in the queue or whoever called for the reading. But we can all learn a little something for ourselves. You will do some researching into the higher self. Well, cool. I mean, that phrase is it can go in so many different directions. So many different people have so many different definitions of what that even means. So whatever resonates with you, that what a fun path to look into if you so wish to do so. Okay, Galactic. Come on down. Here, wait. I'm going to do this because we'd love to see a packed tarot queue. What's up, Wizworld Live? Very good to see you. Oh yeah, and for anyone who's still not really like familiar with these cards, these are the Galactic Heritage cards. It's different from tarot, but in the English language, nobody uses cartomancy or divinatory deck. Everyone just says tarot whenever they're using cards to provide guidance or insight. So it's kind of like Kleenex, I was talking about this on Sunday with my family. I think we got to get people saying cartomancy again. Have you ever watched someone who, here, let me start shuffling this for Gal. Some people are really, really, really cool with just the 52 card playing card decks, and they can do like cartomancy that way. I've seen a few tarot readers do amazing things with their interpretations of. It's really just a permission slip. You can use anything that you want as a practice or ritual of divination, as long as you find the creative connections that you're comfortable with and resonate with. Like I have those 3 guys ready, set, and go who are the plastic figurines that I broke off of the top of sports trophies, and I roll them like dice, and that's a fun thing that I'm like trying to develop more. It's just fun. It's just having fun, This just happens to be a deck that was developed by some authors and channelers who I really, really resonate with, and I enjoy their perspectives on things. So it's fun. It helps me with my Galactic ambassadorship practice, which is something that I've always been very drawn to as a child. Like I enjoy the idea of open contact. I enjoy the idea of peaceful communications across stars and so forth among species that exist on planet Earth. I'm a Libra. I really enjoy making friends, making peace, being diplomatic, understanding different perspectives and how differences can live together as one. I'm just really drawn to all of that, especially in this big time of reintegration as the pendulum swings from one end back to the other. The reawakening of the cosmic feminine, so to speak. And lo and behold, she would be incarnated as a trans person. How about that? A trans woman, no less. Look at that. Are there coincidences? I don't think so. The definitions can be changed. Galactic. Galuigi. Galuigi. I used to, when I was young, I used to have a song about edamame, and I would go, edamame! Like it was a Pearl Jam song. Okay, Galuigi, if you can hear me right now, do you have 2 numbers between 1 and 7 that you want to pick and that I can shuffle? Edamame. Like, I would be sitting there doing homework, and like it started in middle school, but I would sing it in high school too. It helped me like focus on math homework. 4 and 6, awesome. 4 being the heart chakra, 6 being the third eye chakra. Very powerful, very cool. All the chakras are obviously powerful. It's just not always that people pick 4 and 6, and they don't even have to have anything to do with the chakras. I just like connecting things because I like to connect things. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. Beautiful. Very cool. Very excited for this. Let's get these out of the way so we can focus on Gal's reading. With arms edamame. With arms edamame. Edamame spell of focus. Exactly. Carolyn does euchre a lot? Cool. Oh, Cynthia does. Cynthia, your witch, Cynthia, your friend, she did cartomancy with a standard deck. Oh, really? Okay. I was wondering if they were the same person. Very cool. I am one of many names as well, and as are you. No, that's cool. It's like we're living in freaking Lord of the Game of the Thrones. You know, we've all got so many names. All right, Galuigi. Are you ready? Are you ready, Galuigi? Just gonna do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of hoo-ha. Whoa, that was close. That was close. That was close. That was close. Really like that for some reason. Really enjoy that. I kind of want to... Yeah, okay. Let me shuffle it one more time for that third card. Excuse me. Oh, it popped right the F out. That's the one we want for that third card. We love to see it popping right out. As my beautiful friends say, tits up, Pander Sarah. Okay, let's pull this first one for Galuigi. Ooh, open contact. I was talking about open contact. I hope I didn't steer the conversation into that direction, but let's see how this card applies to you. I literally even said that phrase while we were shuffling. That's a bit suspicious. Pleiades future. Very cool. Open contact. Let's go. So if people aren't familiar with the suits, we have past, present, future, and parallel. Those are the 4 suits of this deck. They refer to, you're about to go on a subway, but you hope you can hear as much as you can. Cool, as long as you're in the ear pods or whatever, I'm going to try to speak and enunciate. We don't have ads running today, so hopefully you won't get locked out. Past, present, future, parallel. Past referring to, there's a quality, there's an issue, there's a problem, there's something that needs fixing, there's something that needs addressing. There is a characteristic that is defining of a civilization. Present, there is an acknowledgement of that characteristic. There is an admitting that there is that issue, if there is one. There is acknowledgement. It's there. You address it. It's addressed. And then future is the integration of that characteristic. It is the absorption, the transcendence. No longer is that characteristic or quality seen as a problem or something to be overcome. It is now a part of, and therefore it just naturally is. That's the future. And then parallel refers to energies and themes that just sort of trinkle outside of the spectrum of linear time. Trinkle? It's just always ongoing. It's parallel to the timeline. It isn't necessarily past, present, or future. It's like, it's parallel, So very cool. Open contact, Pleiades future. I don't think I've ever drawn this card before. That's very cool. It's very exciting. Trinkle. 89. Beautiful, beautiful. This card has to do with meeting an other, quote unquote. Stepping onto common ground, into the unknown, and making a connection with a new entity or consciousness. It means facing your fears in order to do this, but experiencing transformation in the process. The future Pleiadians are committed to mentoring humans in this contact process, and their energy is here to assist you. It is also likely that this Pleiadian energy is a future life of yours, if you wish to, dream about that. The past, present, and future lives that this deck refers to, we're not locked into those. I'm very much of the school of thought that all lives exist simultaneously as parallel lives because time is an illusion of linearity. But since we are humans, we are young, we grow older, and then we die, and etc. Whatever your personal beliefs are about incarnation, the cycle of souls, of lives, etc., that's up to you and however you choose to personally interpret that. It could be a new channeling experience. Either way, it is time to open yourself for contact. So it makes me wonder where you're headed to on the subway right now. That's pretty cool. This card connects with an evolved time stream of the Pleiadian civilization in which they are focused on building relationships with other species. In the case of Earth, they are committed to preparing for the contact process and have been engaged in a contact program with humans for nearly a century. This is a natural part of the evolution of a planet. Earth will soon be entering the galactic community and is now being prepared. Hence all of our stuff with our theremins and 1950s, there's a UFO, and we've got culture, and we've got invasion narratives, and are they good, are they bad, are they monsters, are they angels, blah, 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 blah. These are all concepts that we're exploring right now, and ultimately it just has to do with an acceptance and an understanding of an other, who ultimately is always the self. When you get down to it, the metaphysical nitty-gritty of it all. This is a natural part of the evolution of the planet. Earth will soon be... If this card came up in your reading, it may have many meanings. Perhaps you are well aware of your interest in or experiences with ET contact or contacts with any sort of other. It doesn't necessarily have to be extraterrestrial. If that is the case, this card is acknowledging that part of your commitment in this life, that theme, that recurring theme of reaching out to open contact with others. Other is the self? Ultimately, yes. I mean, if we're talking about like cyclical, infinite cycles and so forth, but right now maybe that's I'm jumping a little too far ahead. And it's best now to just sort of appreciate and celebrate the diversity that comes from the self in open contact with an other. Relationships, diplomacy, communication, gorgeous. Perhaps, if this is not the case for you, the contact card may instead be referring to a different kind of contact you are now experiencing, perhaps with your higher self or with spirit guides. It may also be referring to opening contact with a previously hidden part of yourself. If you are unaware of this, start paying attention to the subtle cues around you. Quiet your mind and open yourself to guidance from the universe. Let yourself embrace an other and let that experience assist you in the realization that it is only a reflection of you. Beautifully said. Love that. Yeah. Let's read the second one. Wabam! Feminine Principle, Vega Past. I love this card. Feminine Principle. So what we know about the Vegans was or vegans, there's always that joke people like to throw around. Vega was an offshoot from the Lyran civilization, Lyra being a very early, conquering, pioneering, masculine principle. Penetration, go forth and own and stomp all over. These are, I obviously have baggage with masculine principles, but the feminine principle was a bit of a counter of the Vega. Inward, spiritual, sensitivity, meditative, receptive. What's up, Moby? Moby is, of course, Dick. Okay, so feminine principle 19. Let's go. The ancient Vegan civilization, breaking away from the Lyrans, manifested the feminine principle by their intense devotion to spiritual expression. Also, really quickly, when I talk about masculine, feminine, when I talk about masculine, it's a binary. It's an archetypal binary. It is not meant to literally mean like man, woman, boy, girl, these sorts of binary things. These are just grander allegories, grander cosmic archetypes. Masculine being often expressing itself externally, feminine often expressing itself internally. We could choose different words, but this is just a shorthand. And I understand also that obviously we're living in a time of great polarization. So even the point of to the point of language being a trigger for most of us, to the point of where it's possible that someone may even discount an entire reading if the mere mention of a binary such as masculine or feminine is even brought up. I want to just shove that out there because I am painfully self-aware of all of this. And if I'm missing something, please call me out on it. That's the whole purpose of why we're here. These were the earliest priests and priestesses. They were the first to develop spiritual methods. They had no interest in moving out into the galaxy to develop planets like the Lyrans. All they needed was within. This card reminds you of the same truth. All you need is within you. Please keep shoving stuff out here. Okay, cool. That's a very masculine thing to know. That's see, once you start down that road, it's a real hoopla. All that you need is within you. Stop looking outside of yourself for fulfillment. Instead, rely on your own light and inner awareness. All about balance. The deeper you go within, the vaster the universe becomes. I love that. I've always been such a huge fan of the dichotomy, which is expressed in that video game Everything. I love that game Everything, where if you keep going out and out and out, and keep zooming out, and the universe gets smaller and smaller, eventually you are on the subatomic level and it resets. And then you're very, very small, and it depends on perspective. The macro is the micro and vice versa. Or if you zoom into like a microbe and go deeper and deeper and deeper into the subatomic level and get into the quantum, well, the quantum is the universe. And it mirrors the other is the self, etc. Ooh, I love that. I love it. Makes your brain hurt. It's intense. It's one of those scientific. It's where science really admits that infinity exists. It's scary for us because we live as humans with births, lives, deaths. So we're used to a beginning, a middle, and an end. But what if that just went on forever? It's kind of a frightening notion, unless we can breathe. Because what else is infinite? Breath. It is so infinite that we forget that we're even doing it. And even if our physical lungs stop breathing, nature breathes. The universe breathes. Consciousness breathes. Separation, unity, separation, unity. The pendulum. And that's another binary that's always constantly being transcended because everything changes all the time. As soon as it's like, oh, we're separate. Oh, wait, we're headed towards unity. Oh, we're one unified thing. Oh, wait, no. Now we have a curiosity to express difference. It's always moving. Yeah. Like a river. Or what was it we were talking about? Dead or alive jiggle physics. I think that's always appropriate to bring up. This is the first Vega card in the deck, Feminine Principle Past. The Vegan civilization was an offshoot of the Lyran civilization. They formed their own civilizations because they had a different belief system about how to interact with reality. It's always familiar. Instead of the pioneering spirit of the Lyrans who boldly explored and conquered the physical reality around them, themes of great control, the Vegans took a more feminine, spiritual approach to living in the physical world. They were very inwardly focused and preferred spiritual pursuits. At first, this left them vulnerable or weak in the eyes of the Lyrans, and it caused a lot of war between the two civilizations, as plays out in our own dichotomies on planet Earth. If this card comes up in your reading, whoa, slow down. But it was the Vegans who eventually mastered the spiritual arts. I almost skipped over that sentence. It's a very important sentence because it's always about balance. It's not as if this civilization is always going to be, see this other one as weak. It's always ooh, look at that. It's always a constant balancing. The breath. If this card comes up in your reading, so it could be imploring you to reconnect with your inner feminine energy or to focus more on your spiritual development. Conversely, it could be pointing out that you focus too much on the feminine energy and it needs to be balanced. All of it is valid. Look honestly at the spread and your inner self and be open to receiving this card's message from your higher self. Let's see what this third card is. I'm very curious. It's very cool. Open contact, feminine principle. These, at face value, are actually a very interesting contrast because on the one hand, open contact reminds me of that Lyran principle of external expression. I want to reach out and make a new friend, make a new relationship, make a new acquaintance. I want open contact. And yet, to achieve this, we cannot forego the self. We can reach out by going in. That's a fun paradox that I often have to remind myself of. Just like what we were talking about earlier with if you go zoom out further and further, eventually you will be inside of the atom. Very cool. Is that a lesbianism? Yes. You have too many girlfriends. They're giving you too much feminine energy. There you go. Because of your desire for open contact with all those new women in your life, you've really tipped the scales in terms of the balance of the feminine principle, which, isn't the worst thing in the world, depending on your circumstances. You like these drawings? So do I. They're very beautiful. I love the colors. Really cool. David Cow is the artist. David Cow. I think there's an image of him somewhere in here. Lisa Royal Holt is the channeler and author, and then David Cow did the illustrations, and, well, it's okay. They're just, oh yeah, there they are. There's David, there's Lisa. Cutie patooties. It's going to be blurry if I try to make it larger. Founder of Cow Films. Commercial and music video director. I want to check out your films. That's cool. Okay, let's look at this third card. Primal Fear. Very cool. I love this card. It's the only card in the deck that references reptilian energy. Primal Fear, that initial unfamiliarity, that initial, oh God, there's an other. Are we afraid of this other? Do we recognize that the other is usually just a mirrored reflection of ourselves? They make movies. That's very good. Wizard World Live. Feminine principle. Are we afraid? Are we afraid to go inward when we desire to go outward? Are we afraid to go outward when we feel safer inward? This could go in all sorts of directions. It's a very interesting card to pull as this third one. It always excites me because it's very archetypally powerful. There's nothing to fear from Primal Fear. It's an addressing of, it always comes back for me to that original, the other is a reflection of the self, and that constant alchemy, that constant negotiation of that which I perceive to be monstrously different from me is just another aspect of me. Can I go inward with this feminine principle and find aspects of myself that I'm contacting with this other? Who knows? Can we overcome the fear when we wish to contact? And maybe we can be guided a little bit by this principle. Let's read about it and see how it applies to this 3-card reading for Galuigi. Coffee for the great Dougie Jones. There are many reptilian beings within our galactic family, but few are hostile. However, because they seem ugly and alien, humans often project negative attributes on them. I also really like this card because it directly just brings up that energy, and that word has so many connotations for so many humans. It's so much so, and I bring this up a lot, so much, Dougie Jones from Twin Peaks, yes. So much so that if somebody posts a video on YouTube talking at great length using the word reptilian, there's usually a disclaimer at the bottom of the video from Wikipedia that says because it's so tied into fear-based beliefs, conspiracy theories, all of these sorts of things that swirl around to spread misinformation. It's a very volatile concept that is, for me, fun to play with metaphysically in this realm of these cards. There's only one card in the entire deck that addresses this. And it's right next to alienness, number 27. This is number 28. Alienness, we had that pulled during the community reading. However, because they seem ugly and alien, human often project negative attributes on them. Oh, that's not a mammal. They represent the unprocessed and denied fears within us. These primal fears create illusion for the purpose of protection and survival, but these illusions are rarely based on reality. This card asks you to look deep within yourself for the fears that you have not yet faced. Know that they will continue to threaten you until you confront, own, and finally embrace them as a valuable part of yourself. When engaging in open contact, integrating any possible fears of the other into the self, this is a very, very powerful lesson. This is very cool. This is another archetypal card dealing with one of the most distasteful aspects of being human: fear. It has less to do with actual reptilian species, for which there has been much misunderstanding and or negative disinformation propagated about them. I have a lot of friends, interdimensional entities, who are reptilian and some of the most joyous people. This species, listen to that. I always pull that card. That is so human of me. Some of my best friends are reptilians. This species is peace-loving, gentle, and very ancient. Y'all love dinosaurs, right? Those wishing to spread fear about the species recognize the powerful effect reptilian imagery has in the human subconscious, and they weaponize it. I added that in. A small percentage of people who pick this card will have reincarnational ties to the species. Again, we're getting into that reincarnation discussion, which is not necessary for the reading if it does not resonate with you. Explore this as you see fit. If this card comes up in your spread, it is most likely asking you to go through a process of confronting your deepest fears, for only in doing so can you spiritually transform. The card asks you to embrace otherness, which has been a huge theme of the readings today. An idea or way of being that is different from your comfort level. We've been talking a lot about diplomacy. I don't know what it is that you do for a living, Galluigi, and I don't need to know. I've heard people make jokes about it, and I don't even want to bring those up because I like to give these readings as impersonally as I possibly can. I want to just present some fun information, and the recipient can apply it to their own life the way that they see fit. Evil things. Evil things, that's funny. Is that a little Medusa? Oh, that's so cute. Medusa. That's from the sheep cult game? Galluigi. I someday you and I will have a conversation if it is appropriate for us to do so. Oh, from Hades, cute. What's that PSB? It's great to see you. It's not from Sheet Cult Things. Okay. I would love to play through Hades someday. In one way, this is a very shamanic card. That's also why I'm very drawn to it. I love anything that asks us to integrate that which we are afraid of. By confronting these fears, a powerful force can be unleashed within your consciousness that can free you from many old habits and patterns, both in this life and coming from others. This card is a challenge for you. Can you walk into the unknown and face that which you fear most? Very cool reading for our good pal, Gal. Open contact, feminine principle, primal fear. What a journey. What if it's like a challenge. It's like a crossword puzzle. Now I'm just projecting because of things that I've seen Gal stream in the past. Does this serve you in any way? I hope that this has been a fun reading for you as you travel and go about your day. I'm gonna reintegrate these back into the deck. And then who do we have next? We have Coder Ocelot. You'll be back in SoCal in August? Cool. Coder Ocelot. He's a character from Metal Gear Solid. And he's also a large cat. Coder Ocelot. Also, it was wonderful. I'm so glad. Very, very glad. If anyone wants to join the queue, ! Join in the chat. I give free readings right now. Someday I might charge you $1 bajillion for a reading, but that'll be the day. Right now, I like to just give them out because it's fun and it seems to help people and it helps me practice. You have telemedicine in 15 minutes? Okay. How long is that? We might by the time you're done, you might be. I can just put you in, Squeaky, and I'll call for you. 50 minutes? Okay. Yeah. I mean, it might take us 50 minutes to get through Coder, Watch, and Champ. Yeah. Oh, I need to get a protein bar if I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna just run downstairs real fast. Be right back.
Well, I like it.
Ads are still going, but I'm gonna munch. I'm gonna munch on some protein bars. I always feel like I'm in Snowpiercer whenever I eat a protein bar. Even though it tastes a lot better than like a bunch of bugs, you know? Imagine this was made of bugs. We're talking about eating bugs in the chat? Oh, that's old. Why is it so old? Oh, you know, baby, it's just that Kirkland brand. Ugh. Let's go, Kirkland. Yeah, Goose.
God, what the God, what the God, what the
I wanna dip my balls in it! Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Thank you for your patience while I eat this.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
So sorry, Mrs. Draper. on my swan!
It has frets. It'd be cool to have a fretless bass. It has frets. You can see them. Little boop and boop and boop and boop. That is a bass that was gifted to me when I was like 18 in exchange for a pack of cigarettes. And I've been using it ever since, and I am now almost 33. Good deal. He said, I've never seen someone's face light up like that when they played it. And I didn't even know what I was doing.
Sometimes the world just is.
Sometimes the world just is. I'm almost done. Don't worry. I'm just eating this nutrient paste. Who do we have on deck? Who do we have on? Whew. We have Coder Ocelot. Coder Ocelot, thank you so much for your patience. I really appreciate it.
I want to dip my balls in it!
Well, I like it. God, what the?
Woo! Okay, Coder Ocelot.
What the fuck are you doing?
Draper, what the fuck are you doing? That's from The Expanse, I think. I kind of want to get rid of it because the volume is really low. That's the best one, I think.
That's fucking hot. You're fucking hot. I'm attracted to you. Way to go. Good job.
Way to go! I like the seal. I like the hey, you're hot and funny. I like the I'm attracted to you. I like the Mad Men ones are good. I'm embarrassed by the you're hot and funny one now because let me tell you something, chat, in full confidence. I DM'd hi to Hannah Einbinder.
Mrs. Draper, I'm ready for you.
She was not ready for Mrs. Draper, I guess. What a fucking idiot. Okay. Coder Ocelot, are you here? Can we focus on you and not my own love life for 2 seconds? That's legal. It's legal. It's legal. It's legal. That's legal. Bless you, Coder Ocelot. It's good to see you. Thank you once again for your immense patience with little old Pander Sarah and her ways. Oh, her ways. Her Google Maps and her ways. Let's get this going. I just thought of having like the Jeopardy waiting music, but instead of the Jeopardy waiting music, it was Amber is the Color of Your Energy by 311. But like played in the style of the Jeopardy waiting music, where it's like Muzak and like MIDI. Please subscribe to Real Squeaky From if you want cool MIDI emotes. Also, just an excellent stream. Oh, I was lurking the other night. I'm always lurking. I'm not always lurking. That's not true. I pop in and out of people's streams a lot, and I don't necessarily make my presence known. But it's Real Squeaky From is an extremely comfortable stream to just like chill in at the end of a day. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. We have a lot of comfy streamers in here. KSBP TV, I want to shout out. Galuigi has an extremely comfortable stream. Very rare, but they're fantastic. Helltran is a fantastic streamer. Always looking forward to seeing what Julia Helltran brings to the table. Did I catch Skins? I was watching a little bit of Skins. I saw super young Dev Patel. I watched a little bit of Skins when I was in college. I never finished it though. But boy, that cast sure has a lot of people who went on to become like pretty famous adult actors. Yeah, for some reason I'm just not, I have no interest in like finishing it on my own. But I would watch it with people because it's fun. I still need to see Monkey Man, speaking of Dev Patel. Okay, Coder Ocelot, beautiful. Do you have two numbers between 1 and 7 that you want to focus on so that I may narrow down this shuffling process? Are you there? You've never seen it. It is so good. Yes, you made your way through the OC. 1 and 6, beautiful. The root and the third eye. Very cool. Very cool. Love it. Love it. John Lovitz. Okay. Let's see. Oh, that's cute, Goose. Did West Side Gun respond? And how can you sit there and tell me that that wasn't romantic? You got a Jet Set Radio? Have a great one. This is coming out. That's really coming. Thank you so much, R2 Shelby2, for subscribing for 19 months. Oh my god. Oh, he told Hannah and they both blocked you? Yeah. Well, we're in the same boat now. Ooh, that just jumped right out. Okay, cool, cool, Coder Ocelot. We've got some real strong cards for you here. Not to sound like a fortune teller, but I'm excited for this reading. First card, what do we have? Ooh, Melting Pot, Earth, Future, Melting Pot. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. We've talked a lot about the concepts of the present Earth, and this is the future suit, referring to that beautiful unification of the diversity of all the different groups that collaborate and co-create on the paradise that is planet Earth. It's great to see you, Shelby. Beautiful. Let's read a little bit from this tome, this text. What do we have, 75? Unity from diversity is one of the most powerful evolutionary ideas for a species. Humanity is an amalgamation of many diverse ET species. It is a direct reflection of the galactic community. Once humankind begins to fully embrace those who are different and sees itself as one people. This has really been a theme today. It's been a real theme today, folks. Real strong theme today. Once humankind begins to fully embrace those who are different and sees itself as one people, it will be ready to join the galactic community. This card reminds you that beyond race, beyond gender, beyond skin color, beyond beliefs, all beings come from the same source. Humans must transcend the fear of those who are different and extend their hearts to all beings in order for this necessary evolutionary step to be activated. What a theme today, folks. Wow. Everyone's individual readings are really playing off of each other in a fun, interesting way. It's quite a melting pot of individual readings, I would say. Anything in the commentary before we get into the next card? Yes. This refers to a future time stream, hence the future, in which integration has already happened. Integration of beliefs, races, religions, any other circumstance that would create the condition of other. It refers to the time stream in which the unity field of Earth is far stronger than the ego desire for insistent individual expression or separation, which is all valid in its own right. Just that there's balance there, there's difference there. There's difference in differences. For any planetary species to survive, it must move beyond the fear of other and celebrate the unification of all life. This does not mean that everyone becomes clones or zombies. That's a big theme. It does not mean homogeneity. It does not mean everyone conforms to being the same. No, no, no. It is, in fact, a wonderful balance of unity within diversity, celebrating differences. This is the future that awaits Earth, but in the meantime, our challenge is to look within ourselves, see where we have fear of anything that is different than what we feel comfortable with in our reality. If this card came up in your reading, it could mean that you are still resisting a change in your beliefs or fears about something other than your life. It could refer to pushing away a scary part of yourself you don't want to embrace. Conversely, the message may be acknowledging how well you have done with the process of integration in your life. On the level of ET energies, it could be referring to your many ET connections and how, through time, you have come to embrace all of the galactic energy influencing you, that melting pot. In order to ascertain what this card specifically means for you, let your intuition guide you and listen to its messages, even those you may not want to hear. What's this next card going to be? Another Earth! Progressive desires. Wow. Wow. A lot of Earth. Very interesting. Progressive desires, Earth. Present. Progressive desires being the companion, of course, to the other present theme of conservative attachments, that push, that pull, that breath. You are embodying Earth energy. Yes, you are, Coder Ocelot. Diversity is such a strength. It's funny how that is mirrored in evolution. Absolutely. Progressive desires toward this Earth future of the melting pot. I think this is pretty self-explanatory. I don't need to project too many interpretations onto these two cards. It just feels so inherent, feels so obvious. I've been grounding myself after a period of distress. That's wonderful. It's very important to ground oneself. I often forget to do that because I focus a lot on like air stuff, flighty stuff, the breezes and the winds of change and time and fluidity, and I forget to just like sit and be still, be grounded, be attached to physical reality. I often fly away. Where are we? 52? During a time of transformation, it is common to feel a great excitement and a desire to make sweeping change very quickly. However, because there are many people who fear change, it is prudent to make change that is slow and steady instead of rushing things. In this way, those who cling to the old will not get spooked and obstruct the natural process of transformation. Take an honest look at your life and see where you are either moving too fast or resisting change. Seek the middle road. As you do this, you assist the earth to transform itself with grace and ease. Progressive desires toward that melting pot. Change is a constant. We cannot escape change, but we have to be wise when we implement it. If this card, yes, it can refer to a desire for change that compels premature action. Maybe asking you to take a chance with change and growth, even if you feel frightened. Yeah. Change will happen rapidly and profoundly no matter what, no matter how afraid we are. This is the nature of the energy at this time. It is inevitable. It would be wise to begin to feel comfortable with the unknown and with new directions that may arise, so that when growth becomes necessary for you, you can navigate it with grace and ease. becoming comfortable with the diversity that comes with a celebration of differences. Okay, what's this? Oh, another Earth Present card. 53 belief systems. Wow. What a trio here. Almost seems like this is the end goal and these are the actions, the steps forward. Belief systems. Wow, belief systems. This is I'm really curious as to how this is applying to your life. You don't need to share it, but belief systems. You just have to flip one page to read this one. There is a human tendency to cling to belief systems and rationalize them as facts without realizing that they are illusions. That would not be very conducive to the melting pot. That would be like if all the ingredients tried to run away from each other. If one were to insist that their one belief system was the one true belief system for all of reality, etc. In fact, any construct of our minds, beliefs, thoughts, emotions, is an illusion and not representative of our true nature as aware consciousness beyond the human experience. This is seen as a unique human trait, one that obstructs our growth at every turn. Take a look at your belief systems and your view of the world. See them as constructs of ego rather than universal truths. Only one truth exists, that you are pure consciousness. Everything else is an illusion. Belief systems are complex maps that we build within us that help us navigate our inner and outer worlds and create our view of reality. They are often formed unconsciously from early life experiences or past lives. They keep us feeling safe, but they also stop us from growing. On Earth at this point in time, there is a high degree of attachment to our belief systems, and this keeps us in opposition to each other, as is seen in religious, political, and social conflicts. We were talking about those sorts of labels with the melting pot. Personally, our belief systems keep us stuck. They stop us from loving ourselves, from growing, from healing, and from moving toward unity consciousness. In this time of tremendous growth on Earth, it becomes essential to look within and identify these belief systems, including those about ourselves and those about the world around us. If this card comes up, we're being asked to look at the belief systems of those around us, how we are affected, as well as our own systems that keep us stuck and possibly hurt others in our life. This quest is not a pleasant one, but it is an essential one for all those seeking to awaken their consciousness. Yes, go on a treasure hunt deep inside yourself. What you will find can greatly serve you in your growth if you apply the lesson. I hope this was of some service to you. This triple earth reading, very interesting. All very here and now. All very rooted in the narratives and dramas of present day Earth, with progressive desires to move forward to that beautiful, diverse stew, that melting pot. Wow. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to move forward to Who Watches the Watch. I'm not sure if they're still here. Who Watches the Watch? Are you here, Who Watches the Watch? Let's see if I can get their attention. Oh, you're here. Wonderful. Thank you for your patience. Very cool. Whew. Let me drink some water. Wow. I think I'll cap it at squeaky. After Champ. Oh, you're very welcome, Coder Ocelot. If I can close. Oh no, close is a different thing. Oh wait. Use now close. Okay. Hopefully that doesn't close Nightbot altogether. Wondering if that's what happened last time. Let me actually check that. Nope, we're good. Okay, cool. Coder Ocelot. Wowee. These are deep lessons. It's taking a lot out of me. But I'm happy to exchange this energy. Because it benefits me as well. Benefits everyone. I love like rereading the stuff from the book because it sort of like just helps me absorb and like hold on to different meanings of each card so that eventually, like over time, I won't need to always refer back to the book. But it's nice because it does bring up some things that I maybe didn't see initially. Sometimes people come into chat and they're just like, we're here for you, not to watch you read. And I'm like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Like, it's somebody who's never even heard of these cards before. They're just trying to be like supportive or critical or both. It's just like, yeah, sorry. I have to read. I have to read from the book because I don't want to miss anything. I want it to be a very like complete reading for the person. Eventually I can understand like more and more, but that's going to take years of practice. And even though I've had these cards for years and years, I've only really started reading for other people this year. And already the growth and the interest has been like really, really exciting. Hey Argyle. Supportical. Well, yeah. I mean, criticism can be supportive, but also, yeah. It was someone who was like new that day. You know, first time chatters who just sort of like talk as if they've known you their whole life, and it's like, okay, well, first of all, we can, I guess, talk about past lives or whatever, but also like, you should just like read the room, Luckily, we haven't had that energy in here for a while. I think people just started lurking or something. Okay, beautiful. Who watches The Watch? Can you give me 2 numbers between 1 and 7? One and 4. Beautiful. That was a bit dramatic. 1 and 4. Very cool. 1 and 4. Awesome. We're zooming in. I love that. This shuffling technique makes me think of like zooming in. It like all the cards are put into piles and spread out, and so we have the whole universe in front of us and our entire galactic heritage. And then it's like, how do we choose to zoom in? What themes are we gonna what themes are we gonna zoom in on? And it's a collaborative experience. That's why I ask the question. It's like asking you to cut the deck. That's coming right out. It's really interesting. You feel important. You. Awesome. Learning to nurture. Zeta Reticuli present. We had that last week. Learning to nurture. A beautiful card. Learning to nurture. Pretty self-explanatory there. The image emphasizes that lesson. Zeta Reticuli learning those lessons about nurturing. Had gone through a long process of distancing themselves from nature, distancing themselves from nurture as well, with perceived lack of emotions and stuff. I don't think that's really true. I think that's more of a stereotypical thing. I think there's lots of Zeta Reticuli races that are very in touch with their emotions. I think it's just sort of an archetypal thing to explore. I think that's also why like the webcam started going on the fritz when I was talking about that last week. I think it was just sort of a sign that's like, hey, we still have emotions. We're not just like cold robots. Some of us are, but like we're not all like that. And it's important to remember that as we like sort of stereotype these civilizations through this archetypal reading. Learning to nurture. Where are we? 81. It's a good lesson for me to keep in mind that just because there are certain like qualities that we attribute to these different civilizations does not mean that like it's all encompassing. When the Zetas turned off their emotions in the ancient days and lost the ability to procreate, they also lost the understanding of how to nurture. Later, when they began procreating again, they had no idea how to nurture their new children and relied on humans to help them with the hybridization program, the abduction scenarios, etc. A lot of people having memories of like seeing children in spaceships and so forth, things like that. It's explored a little harshly, crudely, recklessly in a lot of our narratives, like a lot of our abduction horror movies. The television show Resident Alien is working through it. The issue of nurturance is an important one, but it isn't one-sided. We must nurture ourselves as well as each other. This card asks you to look honestly at your ability or resistance to nurture yourself. That's a big thing with caretaking as well. Always focusing on taking care of the other and completely forgetting to take care of ourselves. If your needs are not met, you cannot be of service to others. It is time to honor your self-nurturing needs without guilt. Letting go of that shame of remembering to feed yourself. Remembering to pamper yourself, take care of yourself, nurture yourself, get some rest, etc. Yes, it was actually this card that I read the commentary of. I'm gonna skip over the commentary because we've got it mostly. Yeah, most likely this might refer to a tendency you have to put everyone else first and not pay enough attention to yourself. Learning to nurture others as well as the self. It's all the same energy. And yourself should be included in the list of people who you choose to nurture. Very cool. I'm curious to see where this goes. Delusion of Control, an Orion Past card. Orion Past. The conflict, the polarity. Needing to control others, needing to control the other half of a polarized society. This delusion of control. If only we could make them see our way, then we would all get along. Well, that's not necessarily how that works, is it? Delusion of control. Ooh, this is a very interesting mixture, these two cards. There can be a delusion of control when it comes to nurturing others in the sense of like parenthood. Projecting your own desires, projecting a sense of control over your offspring or children, and justifying it by, oh, it's for their greater good. I'm nurturing them. When really, like, are we exercising control over their free will, their autonomy, their agency, their choices in this incarnation? Is it truly nurturing to control a child or control another person? Delusion of control. 36. Within the Orion system, the dark forces sought control at all costs. The need for control of your reality comes from the ego and is based purely on delusion. We cannot truly control anything, as only the universe, through its infinite wisdom, keeps everything in balance. Your need for control is a deep karmic pattern that is ready to be released. First, you must look deeply at the habits, patterns, and beliefs in your life that reinforce the feeling that you are in control. Practice letting go and trusting that galactic pulse we were talking about earlier. When the urge to control arises, take a deep breath. Remember that it is only the desire of a fearful ego. Yeah. Wow. The commentary is really intense. I kind of want to read it because it's interesting. During the darkest times in Orion history in this era, the Empire tried to exert control of nearly every aspect of life. Even if you imagine the most oppressive regimes on Earth, they would represent perhaps only 20% of the intensity of this era of Orion. Humans carry memories of these oppressive times and are still trying to heal those traumas. One of the ways in which polarity plays itself out in human reality is through the idea of how the human ego wishes to control reality, when in fact, reality cannot be controlled because there is a greater force. If you want to call it God, if you want to call it, the universe, source, higher self, that keeps everything in balance. So the more the ego feels powerless, the more it tries to control. This delusion of control has kept us stuck for millennia. People and groups have tried to exert control from religions to politics, trying not only to control conditions but thought as well. It simply doesn't work, and this is the lesson the Orions had to learn in very painful ways. Here on Earth, we have egos that try to control our realities, and ultimately it is never successful. If this card came up in your reading, it is asking you to look honestly and closely at how you try to control reality, including the people and conditions around you. Know that it is impossible to do, so why keep trying? The message behind this card is to begin to heal that need for control and learn to surrender, letting go to the wise flow of the universe. This is the only way the planet and her people will not only survive but flourish and move to the next stage of human evolution. Wow. Abandonment. Oh, that's so powerful. Abandonment. The past pain of abandonment. Feeling as though our gods had forsaken us, feeling as though our parents have left us, our guardians have abandoned us, our friends, our loved ones, we have been forsaken, etc. I love this opening of the box, and it's empty, and this shooting star off to the left. Beautiful card. Abandonment. This is a very strong trio. Obviously, like a lot of parental vibes, familial vibes. Doesn't necessarily have to be blood parents or blood family or whatever that means, like a legal guardianship or whatever. Delusion of control. Trying so hard to keep something a certain way for fear of abandonment. The Wind Up Bird Chronicle. Yeah. 50. I haven't read that in forever. I can't remember if I finished that book. Species often have karmic issues to clear, as well as people. One of the main issues for humans to clear has to do with abandonment. When the ETs left Earth in the ancient days, the pain of that departure left humanity with scars of abandonment. Humanity felt as if it had no role models or parents to guide it. Along with that abandonment, we experienced anger, sadness, and self-pity. But as we remember our place in the universe, these wounds can be healed. This card asks you to help humanity heal by remembering your universal connections and the fundamental truth: we are never alone. That's another big one. Especially having to do with, like, the separation being the same as unity. There's never like a true loneliness. It's like a paradox because there's like always a true loneliness, but there's never a true loneliness. It's always like the same and it's different. I'm curious to see how this like relates to you, but you don't have to share if you don't want to. While on the surface level, this card refers to the time in Earth's past when ET forefathers left the planet and we felt very alone. It also refers to a very deep issue that serves as a wound for all beings in creation. This wound is discussed in many esoteric texts and is that of the original separation we experienced from the source. In a sense, it is that which drives us toward reintegration and wholeness once again. Probably more than any card in this deck, this card has many layers to it, and you will need to truthfully look at your life and your challenges in order to understand the message it is bringing to you. If you are consciously aware of pain regarding abandonment as a human in this life, or fear of abandonment, this card implores you to heal that wound. On a deeper level, the message of the card may have to do with this original wound of the separation from source, resulting in feelings of loneliness, disconnectedness, guilt, low self-worth, and so forth. Take some time to explore this idea and see where it leads. Look to the other cards in the spread for further insight. Wow, this is quite a connection. These are themes that we're exploring right now. Don't forget that we can abandon ourselves as well. I guess with that learning to nurture card, remembering to nurture ourselves. It is possible to abandon the self, give up on the self, trying to control so hard and just giving up. I want my life to be a certain way. I want myself to be a certain way. I want my body to be a certain way. Or I want a loved one to be a certain way. And fear of abandonment is so complex there. Are you afraid that you'll abandon yourself? Are you afraid that the loved one will abandon you? Are you afraid that you might lose a connection with the loved one? And how we can nurture them by nurturing ourselves and vice versa. All of this has to do with balance and very sensitive wounds. This is interesting. Does this serve you? Who watches the watch? Very interesting trio. I almost feel like I've been given insight into your life that I feel like it's like an invasion of your privacy, and I'm trying to keep it as private as is comfortable for you. These are very this spells out a story for me. And I just hope that the lessons are of some value to you. You look forward to rejoining the source, but I have come to like my little carved out life. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we don't need to kill ourselves to rejoin with source. We could like paint a picture. We could play magic cards. We could we could watch a movie we like. You know, returning to source doesn't always necessarily mean abandoning the physical realm. I think enjoying our carved out life can be an expression of returning to source. I think it's all very valid. I think that's just time messing with you, though. It won't disappear. You're not apart from the source even now. I might read more about the learning to nurture card because we didn't really read the commentary for that. Yeah. The darkest time, they vowed to never feel emotion, thinking that it was the cause of their problems. But being fully cut off from emotion always backfires. That's that delusion of control. Can't abandon emotion. It causes isolation and tremendous desolation, as if you live in a desert with no source of nourishment. Wow. In physical reality, nurturing and the giving, receiving of love are forms of nourishment that are essential. With help from humans, Zetas had to relearn how to give and how to receive nurturing and love. Yeah. Very cool. Whatever the meaning, begin to form a new relationship with the idea of nurturing, both of the self and of others, where it leads. May be a pleasant surprise. I hope that was in service to you, who watches the watch. I think I'm going to move on to Champ, if Champ is still here. Oof. This is really taking it out of me today. We've been going for like 3.5 hours. All right, Champ. Much love to you who watches the watch. I'm going to reshuffle these cards. Thank you for joining the queue. I hope that all is well. Okay. Champy Poo. Champerino. Champ, have you listened to Milk and Kisses yet? It's a beautiful album. Champoodler. The infamous champion. Probably. Yeah, they just did a remaster of it in 2024. That's why I was listening to it. Because it was always one that had a lot of songs that I love on it. But Heaven in Las Vegas was always the album that I like would reach for. And there's a few others that I like really enjoy. But Milk and Kisses was one that was like, oh, some of these songs, it just feels like I've been listening to it my entire life, but I was just never really aware of it until now. And then they just remastered it in 2024, so it's like there's that on Spotify, so it's really nice to. I was listening to that on the drive yesterday. It was really nice. To be honest, you just hit shuffle on Spotify and do other things. That is a lovely way to listen to music. You always get something new, something to surprise you, and you can enjoy. Oh, I forgot. While I'm shuffling, it's more fun to look at it this way. My face is not obscured by chat. Champ, can I get 2 numbers from you between 1 and 7? Between 1 and 7, Champ. 2 numbers between 1 and 7. 8 is not an option. We could do 1 and 1. I like 1 and 8 though. Honestly, because 18 is a lucky number for me. 1 and 7, cool. The Root and the Crown. The Root and the Crown. Very cool. Boop. Boop. Beep. Bop. Woo! Sheesh. Exciting. Big excitement in this deck right here. Big excitement we've got going on here. Big excitement. What's going on here? What is going on in here? Something is going on in here. Lower, 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 lower. Bingo. Okay. That one. That was one of them. Okay. Interesting. They're just jumping out. They're like really just like, I'm getting a very like clear voice in my head that's like, pick this one, pick that one. So these are your 3. Very interesting. Okay. Let's go. Returning the favor. Zeta Reticuli present. Returning the favor. Returning the favor. We were just talking about nurturing. Relearning to nurture when it came to the Zeta Reticuli in the present. Returning the favor to the humans. When someone has gifted you with something, you want to return the favor. You want it to be a mutual exchange of experiences. Returning the favor. Let's go. 82. During the darkest time of Zeta history, when they thought their species would be extinct, humans helped them. Humans helped them. This immense and selfless gift will never be forgotten. Now that their species has passed through the crisis, the Zetas are returning the favor by offering us their wisdom, help, and love in a variety of ways. This is a connections card, which means that you have a connection to the Zeta race, and their energy is available to you in this life to tap into on your spiritual path. You have also had at least one lifetime as a Zeta, says this. Open yourself to their energy and prepare for your heart to expand. This card refers to the era when their species crisis had passed. During the dark times, humans helped them. They are tremendously grateful and have done whatever they could to return the favor, mostly by sharing their wisdom. They are important guides for humans at this point in human development, because humans could possibly take the same road as they did in their past, which is a near annihilation of their species. Their gratitude is motivating them to return the favor given to them by humans. If you pull this card, it is likely that a Zeta being from this era is working with you as a way to pay it forward. Wow, you knew it? You feel a connection there to the Zetas? Let yourself accept this guidance, even if it is only subtle or you can't feel it. Know it is given with much love. Depending on the other cards and your life circumstances, this card may also suggest that someone in your life is attempting to give you a gift. If you are having trouble accepting, know that it is okay to fully accept the gift and nurture yourself by doing so. Conversely, the card may be suggesting that you return a favor to someone else and give the gift with no strings attached. Go within and sense the energy of this card and its possible meanings to see if you can gain clarity on what it means for you. Be open to other, more creative meanings as well. Very excited to see what this means. Unfinished business, serious present. Well, that already feels like it's like there's an exchange, a sense of unfinished business. Serious present. They were big mentors as well, big teachers, the Syrians. A lot of gifts to give and receive. Unfinished business. It's very interesting. Returning the favor. Unfinished business. These are very specific readings. 59. The ancient Syrians believed that they left some things unfinished. Mostly this has to do with the evolution of the human race. Many of these ancient beings have incarnated as humans now in order to complete the tasks they feel were left undone. Other serious beings are helping from the unseen realms. If you feel that you have unfinished business in your life or a nagging feeling that you were supposed to do something, pay attention to what that is teaching you about self-acceptance. The lesson is that you are complete in every moment. If you were supposed to do something, and it would be done. My God, you can return the favor to yourself by always expecting, oh, I need to be doing this, I need to be doing that. It's already done. Like the business is always being finished. Yeah, does that make sense? Your laundry is still in the dryer. This card refers to a specific era of the Syrian civilization when they were working with the human species for the purposes of genetic enhancement and spiritual evolution. Galactic civilizations often have to think long-term, and many of their projects took millennia to complete, or are still being completed now in this time of transformation. Many humans on Earth were incarnated as these serious beings back in that ancient time, and they still carry this feeling of having unfinished business, a nagging feeling that there is something that needs completion. Boy, I can relate to that. If this card came up in your reading, it may be referring to unfinished business from the ancient serious projects, or it might be a feeling of unfinished business from other lives, or even this life, or even your laundry. Look to the surrounding cards for clues. Look to your laundry machine for clues, but also really examine your life honestly. Is there something in this life that needs completion? If so, free up your energy by working toward that completion. If the sense of unfinished business is more subtle, go deep within for the answers. No matter what happens, know that when you follow the flow of life and meet all challenges with integrity instead of running from them, any unfinished business that is carried has a tendency to resolve itself easily. It is only when there is resistance that we postpone the inevitable. Keep that in mind as you navigate this human life. It's like returning the favor to yourself, or maybe someone else is returning the favor to you by a reminder that, you know, there's business to be unfinished, but it's also, yeah, it's a complex one. I don't know, I just kind of want you to sit with that. I don't want to try to like manipulate it into some sort of like meaning for you. God, survival fears again. This comes up so much for us. Interesting. Survival fears, Zeta Reticuli past. Interesting. Unfinished business of survival fears. Returning the favor of acting out of survival fears. I really like the illustration. It's looking at little images of other Zetas in this like very busy, noisy tunnel. I was afraid of going extinct, so it took drastic measures. Fear of extinction feels like unfinished business. It's interesting. You can think of that in the way that it's like, oh, I'm afraid of my business being finished. I'm afraid of my species going extinct. But it can also go in the other way where it's like, any sort of anxiety about anything is an unfinished business. You know what I mean? Sometimes I feel like I should be doing more, and other times I feel like it's just me being impatient. I'm feeling the fear of extinction. Ooh, I think these last few months have been pretty intense for the future of our planet. Oh, sure. Any month at all. Any month at all. It's up to us. It's up to us how we want to step forward and how we want to be in the present moment. We have a lot more say in what is happening than I think we believe we do. I think it's our survival fears that make us think that we're out of control. And we've read this a few times, but I'll read it again for you. In the ancient days of the Zeta Reticuli, their species nearly destroyed themselves due to high planetary toxicity and misuse of technology. When they realized that their species was dying, they experienced the most primal of fears, that of no longer continuing as a species. These survival fears force them to look deeply within and make drastic changes. The same is true in our lives. Often we don't make changes until we can clearly see that our old ways will only destroy us. By then, we have little chance of change. What part of your life needs to be changed? Begin the process now before it becomes too difficult. It's very interesting. What needs to be changed? That feels like unfinished business. But completing the business is returning the favor. This is a really interesting reading. I don't know. I can't tell if I'm like running out of steam or if this is hitting deeply for Champ. I can feel my energy waning. That's why I'm glad I closed the queue. Squeaky's the last one. I don't even know if we'll get to Squeaky. Because that was a while ago. Wow. Champ, no, it was waning long before you. It was like when I started eating the protein bar. Maybe the protein bar is like poison. I'm gonna eat this other protein bar and see what happens. I've just been drinking coffee and eating protein bars. It's not like the best diet. Oh, fuck. I also like had a pretty late night last night. I kind of knew that I would be like sleepy today. Like, yeah. I hope it hit you on some level. I hope it was of some service to you. I should really be eating like real food. It hit? Okay. I don't know. I like to like contemplate it. A lot of reads today, yeah. Last Thursday we had like a really, really wild reading where we had like a 1 in a million, 259,000 something chance of something happening. And it's nice to have like a sort of lower energy stream. I mean, I started with a really high energy with the stream, but I'm like fizzing out. I'm treating that fizzing out as a gift. Hmm. It was truly amazing, Balloon. It truly was. I have this like weird pull, this like anxiety about something I posted on Twitter. I guess I don't need to worry about it. I don't know. I just really this was something I explored yesterday in therapy. I just really can't. There's a part of me that like feels a need, like a problematic need to try to help when someone feels helpless. But oftentimes, like when we're stuck in a mode of helplessness, we don't really accept help from others, and then that perpetuates helplessness because then the other person can't help you, so then they feel helpless. And thank you for the blessed Agent Whiskey Danger. That's a really cool name. Hmm. It also ties into the unfinished business of returning the favor out of survival fears, trying to like help everyone who comes off as helpless. I think a lot of people are exploring new themes of helplessness as we get closer and closer to these like political milestones and stuff. To me, we're just edging closer and closer to autonomy, waking up to our own power, and letting loose of that idea that we need to have like a savior outside of ourselves. But it's a big shift for a lot of people, so I think a lot of survival fears come up. Abandonment comes up. Takes a lot of like integration. Oh yeah, exactly. It's like a slingshot, like it's just being pulled back and back and back, and then there will be a release, but what does that release entail? And you see it through like disruptions such as like civil unrest or like natural disasters and things like that. Like awakening to our own power is inevitable though. And it happens on individual levels as it like, you know, gradually slowly happens on a collective level. But as we can help the process along, I believe, by working on ourselves as individuals. I believe that that benefits the collective. I believe that there's like a ripple effect. I think that's why I have such a savior complex. I want to like be of service to the people in my community because I believe it'll ripple out, save the world. And I'm always trying to balance my like own ego desires within that. Like, oh, my contribution helps save the world. Everyone's contribution helps save the world. We're all a part of the world. Oof. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Time is so much sometimes. It's always on my mind. Yeah. Just is. Yeah. I'm like, I used to like rebel against it, like, oh, it's all an illusion. It's all a construct. Well, that's true, our experience of it is very real. So I had to sort of like integrate those anxieties and just be like, well, it's here. It's part of the rules of the game that I'm playing. And that's okay. I don't necessarily need to control it so that I can gain power over it and just like harness the power of time. Just like, oh, time. Yeah. Time's a thing. Time's like an aspect. It's an illusion. It's a construct, but our experience of it is very real. Like how we learn and grow through like a linear narrative where we know more now than we did before. Yeah, it's just it's the way the river's flowing. And we can experience other forms of it as we ascend, so to speak, as we evolve, or like in dream time or in death. But right now it sort of sets up a structure for us to learn the lessons that we wanted to come here to learn, if you believe in that. That's a hard pill to swallow, I think. Because I bring this up a lot, but it's very like in fashion to disagree with one's own existence and want to like rail against it. Dreams and DMT really make me question our experience of time. Yeah. Those can be little doorways that like unlock or like peer behind the curtain or peer behind the veil and oh, there's something else going on here. There's more to it. Acid was really nice for that. It's so hard to try to remember all the lessons that we remember. Like we reawaken to during like an intense psychedelic trip and trying to carry those lessons into the mundanity of like our routine life. Excuse me. It's like a different vibration. Yeah. Whew. Well, I might end stream instead of waiting for Squeaky. I don't know how long Squeaky will be. Because I'm like really tired now. And I need to work on some other stuff. We can wait out the hour though. I thought about playing some Spyro, but I think I'm like too tired. Oh, you're very welcome for Stream Balloon. Thank you for being here. Thanks for... I know this can be like really like dry and wordy and preachy and stuff, but I'm glad that people get something out of it and enjoy the streams. Because I sure like doing them for people. It's a lot of fun. Whew. Yeah, I'm gonna pop off. There's someone we can raid. Is there someone we can raid? Lots of people. Lots of people. Oh, Shelby just started. Libtron? I have no idea who that is. I'm gonna raid Shelby. Thank you all for being here. Oh, whoops. Holy cow, we have 23 people in here? That's pretty cool. That's more than I expected. Thanks for lurking. The webcam is so shaky. Every time I move the mouse, the table moves, so the webcam jiggles. It's all jiggle physics. Thank you for being here. I try my best to stream every week at Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 a.m. Pacific. Today I woke up late. But I will do my best to be here Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific. I also would like to stream some video games sometime this week if I have time. Thanks for being here. All of you are very beautiful, wonderful human beings.